At the ending, he asked me like the magical question. That's like the movie question. Sell me this pen. Right?
Oh shit!
Yo, I hated that question.
He asked me the question.
I couldn't sell the pen.
Really?
Yeah, no, I couldn't sell the pen, but I could sell you the car.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing with this "sell me this pen" question. Okay, the guys that make them, and sometimes I throw this in my sales interviews as well when I'm interviewing sales guys, just for fun, just to see what they would say to me. Right?
Yeah.
The key to the question is you never want to sell the pen. If you want to be a good salesperson, it's not about selling the pen. You got to figure out, qualify the customer first, and then use that information to create need for your product. Right? How can you sell? How can you sell somebody something that they don't need? Right? You have to make them explain to you why they need it, and then tie it in together. Right? So that's what I did in the interview. I was like, well, what do you do for a living? I don't see you have any nice pens here. You know, what kind of contracts do you sign? This and that. And then started to get into conversation. I was like, well, that, you know, everything you said to me, this is the pen that does that for you. And then sold it like that. And then he even made it harder for me. He hit me with objection. He's like, I got to talk to my wife. And then I hit him back and I'm like, wait, aren't you the senior financial services manager here? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you make most decisions in the company? He's like, yeah. Well, do you ask your wife every time? Closed.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Wealth is Possible. We're joined by Saad Muhammad, who is the sales manager at Audi Queensway. This is actually the largest dealership owned by the Dilawri Group, which is actually Canada's largest automotive group.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. So it's based in Toronto. Saad has been in the sales industry for 9 years. He started off working all sorts of sales jobs, including crushing it at Mr. Safety Shoes for a year before transitioning into automotive sales. Saad has broken multiple records at both Mazda and Audi, including breaking the all-time record for the most cars sold in dealership history just 5 months into his Audi Queensway career.
It's crazy.
Thank you so much for coming through, bro.
Thank you for having me.
We actually all went to high school together, which is also another
Father
crazy
Michael
thing.
McGivney.
There we go.
We have another guy from McGivney.
Jumping right into this, bro. Tell us a little bit about your sales journey leading into automotive sales.
So sales has been I didn't know this, but it's been a passion of mine since I was young. Okay. So I started off helping my grandparents out. They had a small convenience store. So at that time, it's not as aggressive as it is now. When I mean aggressive, it's not like target driven or anything like that. But you learn how to communicate with people. You learn how to persuade people. You learn how to qualify people. Things of that nature. I didn't even know I was learning this at that time, but that's what I was doing from an early age, probably like 14, 15 years old. Small convenience store. They had religious books, like calling cards to call back home and things like that. But they really taught me on how to like interact with customers, customer service, things like that.
That's huge. That's huge.
No, for sure. Like how to even the proper etiquette of speaking to people, learning that from an early age from people that like started back home. Because, you know, back home, they take this stuff very, very seriously, right? Yeah. So learning that from an early age, getting that stuff implanted in my brain. I didn't even know what was going on, but I was getting conditioned.
That's a blessing, bro. It is. That young and you were learning all this?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they have a business background. My grandparents had like a fruit business back home and stuff like that. I never like was part of that, but they do have a business background, right? So I guess some of that came inside of me.
From back home, everything. Okay.
Exactly. So that's what I was doing from an early age. Started getting into sales like that. After high school, I even worked at this air filtration company. I was working security at that time, of course it's minimum wage, and like, you know, I wasn't making the kind of money that I knew that I could make. So there was an ad that was posted and it was like, you'll make $3,000 a month guaranteed, and now that
guaranteed
time, that was a lot of money.
So
I was like, okay, you know, like 18 years old or something like that, $3,000 is good. And then on top of that you can make commissions as well. So they brought us in, you know, they trained us, and this is an air filtration system that costs $5,000. Okay, so they train you, and it's crazy how they did it. Now that I'm thinking about it, they did marketing like this. So they would send flyers or scratch cards, almost like a lottery ticket, to people's homes in like Scarborough and Etobicoke and things like that. People would scratch these cards, and the way they had it set up, it would look like you won a TV. But you actually didn't. You won a $25 gift card. I don't forget how to explain this. But the way the card looked when you scratch it, it's like, I won a TV. But in reality, when you actually read the fine print, you just won a $25 gift card. So that was our entry to the door. What they had to do was give the company a call and say, hey, I've won a TV, but how do I get this TV? And the company would be like, well, we're going to just come by. We're going to give you a presentation. If you listen to the presentation, then, you know, you get the free TV. The guy will come over and hand it to your house. Amazing.
Huge finesse,
you know, send the guy over. And keep in mind, too, like now I'm thinking about this and I'm realizing what they did. They're sending these tickets not to like the rich areas in Toronto. They're sending this in like Scarborough and Etobicoke.
Because those are the families that are going to want the TV, too.
That's the people that get enticed, right? They don't really really know like what the fine print is. They're not going to bother listening to that. All they see is a TV. I want a TV, right? They think they hit the lottery by that TV. So now we get the foot in the door. My sales manager at the time, he sets up the appointment, sends me a text. Hey, this is the address. I did a lot in this area actually.
Oh, sure.
I learned the map of Toronto doing that job. We would drive around from house to house. I learned the streets and northwest, south, all that. So we'd get into the door, and at that time, like, you put your sales hat on, right? You're building rapport with the clients right away, getting them to like you, and they're like, oh, where's my TV? Oh, don't worry, ma'am. Like, let me just do this presentation with you. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Nice. Now, it takes me about 2 to 3 hours into this presentation.
That's crazy.
Think about this. This is the first time you're meeting these people. You're pitching them an air filtration system. They don't even know that they need this. And at the end of it, you're trying to pitch them a $5,000 product.
Jeez.
Okay, so that was a tough job.
I'd imagine.
Tough.
And like at one point, you're gonna have to tell them like, yo, there's actually no TV.
Exactly. That's
you just sit there the whole time. You're like, oh yeah, by the way, guys,
by the way,
you gotta have balls to do this job.
By the way, you only get a $25 gift card for 3 hours of your time. You know what I mean? So that part wasn't easy either, but like by then the goal was like they like you enough that they warmed up to you, and then they even forgot about the TV, right?
Wow. So have you actually successfully converted sales with that?
So I was doing about 3 sales a week at that time. And I mean, it's not crazy high because I was probably meeting like 3 to 4 people a day, working 5 days a week. So if you do that math, I'm meeting like 20 people a week and closing 3 sales. But each sale was $800 commission. And even the guys that are running the company, they're finessers too, because if you make commissions, then you don't get that 3,000. You're just gonna
switch over to commission.
Yeah, exactly. You just switch over to commission, and they're gonna, oh, you're making more in commissions anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Wow. So they never wrote base plus commissions.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So they finessed the details of the contract as well.
Oh my god! I hope that company's not around anymore.
That company's not around anymore. I guarantee you that.
It's so unethical.
It's very unethical, and the people that were running it, like now that I look back, they definitely weren't ethical people. They had no morals. But some people at that company were making legit money. And they were definitely learning how to be good salespeople. They're learning how to build rapport very quickly. I did actually meet a couple of people that were successful. Like I met one person that was a upper manager at Rogers and stuff, and she told me, she's like, you nailed this. She called me the next morning. I had sold her the night before. She's like, Saad, I gotta give it to you. You sold me. You got me. Everything you said, everything you did was like, you checked the boxes. Like you had me hooked. You built rapport. I thought I like knew you for years. And now that I slept on it, I woke up and I'm like, I just bought a $5,000 air filter. I don't need this. That's crazy. Let me cancel this.
That's, and I'm like more than the entire AC furnace.
And my sales manager just give me a pat on the back. He's like, look, you sold the customers. You're going to lose some deals like this. And I'm like, it is what it is. I'm 18 years old. And it is what it is, right? And then eventually I realized, like, this is not working out, right? So I went back to security for a while. I did security for another 2-3 years. I was grinding.
Security is the best thing if you're in school.
Yeah, it was a good thing, but it was overnight shifts. It was killing me.
Which company you work with?
I worked a lot of different companies. I worked for G4S. I worked for.
I worked with Paladin.
You work with Paladin?
Yeah. And you have First Service Residential?
Yeah, I didn't work for them, but I know all the companies. Like I probably interviewed at all the companies. I worked at some of the smaller ones.
Easiest job interview ever, right? It's like, hey, what's your availability?
Yeah, exactly. Can you work night shifts? Can you work 12-hour shifts? Okay, you're hired.
It's like, wait, don't you need to see my license?
Can you be a pylon for 12 hours, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, some of the stories I have working security, like working overnight. I worked at this one place. I was scheduled to work at this parking lot, right? Overnight. You sit in your car and you're guarding a parking lot on Lakeshore. No one's coming there. So I'd go there. I'd have my pillow. I'd have like my blanket. I had my Netflix, my food.
That's crazy.
It was a sick chill session.
Seriously. For 12 hours. And then for 6 months I did that, just doing nothing over there. And then one day in the morning, I slept a little bit too late because I know when the people are going to come in the morning, right? So
you get fired on the
I'd
spot.
set my alarm. I'd be like, I got to wake up at this time. Probably miss my alarm or something. And the vice president of that security company shows up somehow that day. He walks around the lot and he sees me. He's like, are you just a security guard here? Because I'm wearing a uniform, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what is this? He just started flipping on me.
Oh, shit.
And like fired on the spot.
Okay.
That's like the number one way to get fired in security. Sleeping on the job.
Yeah. So if I didn't, honestly, looking back at it now, blessing in disguise. Because had I not gotten fired, I probably would have been like, you know what, security, it is what it is. Paying the bills right now. Who knows how long it would have took me to progress and try something new, right?
Exactly. But everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. Anyways, I'm really compressing the story, but I worked security for years, grueling it out and just, long shift, just boring. And knowing that like I'm not really unleashing my potential, right? Like just doing something and just passing by.
And that starts to affect you too, long term too. Because it's like you'll have all this potential and you'll work like a baseline job and you just start associating your identity with that baseline job.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Your confidence starts to go down. You look at friends around you. They're trying to do more and more. And you're like, what am I doing? Like, I'm sure paying the bills right now. I'm going out with my friends once in a while. I can get a bite to eat when I want to. But at the same time, like, how am I progressing? And I've always had that mentality inside me. Always been very proactive.
You'd be an athlete, right?
So I was an athlete. So I was an athlete.
That carries on.
Extremely competitive. I think I'm one of the most competitive guys that I know. So doing that kind of job, I'm just not fulfilling, So got fired there. Again, blessing in disguise. And then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? So at that time, like, didn't really have too many skills or nothing to show for it. So I started applying at different places. And one of the places that called me back was Mr. Safety Shoes. They were opening up a new store in Markham, where the LA Fitness Plaza is, Woodbine and Highway 7. And I went and did an interview, had a phone interview, did an interview in person as well. And they were like, yeah, you know what? You fit the bill. Let's get you on. Nice. Obviously, it's not a tough job, right? Like, it's a retail job, kind of like Foot Locker. So I started over there, and I worked at the Markham location for a little bit. The manager there hated me. It was this lady. I don't know what was wrong with her, but she had it out for me. She told me, she was like, you suck at sales. You don't know how to talk to people. You have no skills in presentation. Like, just stand there and whatever they tell you to get, what size they tell you to get, just go and grab the box and just give it to them. Like, don't talk too much,
No way.
What kind of, you're looking back at that, you're like, I'm the manager now, and like, that was the worst manager ever.
When I say she put me down, like, she was out to get me. Like,
why?
I don't understand. I'm like,
did you like show up late or something?
No, not at all. And I was at that time as well. I didn't have a car, so I lived in Markham and Steeles. I'm taking the bus from Markham. You guys know this route, 53, 53 all the way to Woodbine and Steeles, and then from there I'm biking up to Woodbine and Highway 7 every morning. 20-minute bike ride. So I'm sweaty by the time I get to work. She hated me so much. I'm like, can I at least park my bike in the back so it doesn't get stolen? She's like, no, put it in the front. I'm like, I don't have a lock. She's like, go buy a lock.
No way.
So she made some like closet racist remarks once in a while. But
I think that's what it was.
It's all.
I don't know.
I think that's.
I really don't know. I really don't know. But anyways, the good thing was after 4 months of working there, the Scarborough location had an opening, and that was at Kennedy Commons. So I was like, please, like, can I get a transfer over there? She was like, all right. So I got a transfer over to the manager over there. He was a great guy. He gave me an opportunity, and that's when things started taking off.
Nice. How long were you in the job before you transferred over?
4 months.
4 months. Okay.
4 months.
So you put up with that shit for 4 months.
I grinded it out, and you know what? There was so many times where I'm like, why am I still here? Why am I? Let me quit. But I'm like, no. You know what? At that time is when I really started reading books and really started developing myself and learning how to be calm and just taking things in and just being positive. No matter what happens, I'm going to be positive. And I'm like, I'm going to kill her with kindness. No matter what she does to me, she's not breaking me. I don't care. I was getting in that mentality. I was learning how to be tough.
That's a sick mindset.
I was learning how to just take everything in that's hitting me from the world. And I'm like, I'm not going to break. I'm going to make her break. I'm going to make the most out of the situation.
Did she break?
Like, I mean, eventually she transferred me over, right? She was like, I can't break this guy. I can't get him to quit.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to allow him to transfer over.
You didn't back down on that one.
No. So I got transferred over there, and people will look at it and be like, oh, it's a safety shoe place. Like, what do you mean this is sales?
Yeah.
If you think about it, like, safety shoes, it's not a thing that you need to really sell to people, because people that need safety shoes, they need them.
Yeah, there's all the additional stuff that you add on, like the laces.
Exactly, right? Mr. Safety Shoes is actually the largest safety shoe provider in Canada.
Okay.
So they have big contracts with Toronto Fire. They have contracts with Toronto Hydro, like all these big companies, City of Toronto, all the major manufacturers,
trade companies,
companies that make cookies and stuff like that, candies and all that. They have all those contracts.
So these guys are coming in automatically.
They're coming in because their company has a contract with Mr. Safety Shoes. They're given a voucher, even TTC, like
20% off or whatever.
20% off. Like, here's your voucher. You can actually go and spend $120 there. So we've got a ton of traffic coming in. Now, those are normal sales, and you have to keep in mind, I wasn't really thinking that way at that time, but now I know, like, that's subsidized costs, right, for their shoes. So Mr. Safety Shoes is not really making that much money when they're selling these shoes. They're already giving them at a subsidized cost.
Like it's like Apple. Like, a lot of companies don't really make a lot of money off.
Yeah.
So people
just
come
to
in.
Get that contract.
That will generate people to come in there, and then while they're there, then they'll buy like the cables and
this
like all
and
that. All the high profit items. Yeah.
So everybody I was working with over there, they didn't really take it serious like a sales job, but I did. I'm like, I'm gonna be a sales person.
Sales is sales, bro.
Yeah, sales is sales. So when they come in, they're trying on the shoes. I'm like, oh, you're on your feet all day. Like, don't you get tired? Don't your feet get sore? Look at this insole. I pop it in the shoe. Sometimes I don't even tell them. Just pop it in the shoe. When one shoe, they're trying on both the shoes. Like, it feels a little different. I'm like, well, that one's got the insole. You're gonna be on your feet for 12 hours. Like, you need that, you know. All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Like, I'm just upselling everything.
Like, would you literally like read the book and then like try out those strategies?
At that time, I wasn't reading too much sales books.
Yeah.
I got into that a little bit later, but I was reading a lot of like just self-improvement, mindset, self-development, just starting to pick up the right habits. You know, it was very premature, but I was starting to, you know, just getting in the right mentality and trying to be proactive with things, right? Like you can have two choices when you come into work. Either you come into work, you just do your thing, 9 to 5, you get out of there, or you're gonna be like, I'm gonna make an impact today, and that's the mindset that I was coming in with. And my coworkers were not on the same frequency as me. So we had a sales contest there. Who could sell the most insoles, laces, and shoe care products? So I started destroying the sales contest. Jeez. I was like, I'm gonna win every single month. The prize was $100 Visa prepaid gift card at the end of the month. I'm like, I don't care about the prize. Oh shit! I just want to win. Like, you know, I'm just competitive by nature.
Competitive side, like, what the prize is.
So like 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 12 months, like just back to back to back. Just 1 month, I remember I was going on vacation for 2 weeks. I went to Colombia with some of my friends, and I knew that I'm leaving in like week 2. So the first half of the month, just crushed it. Put it on like, you know, super mode. And I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that I sell so much that even when I go off, they can't catch up. I come back, still won the month.
Wow.
Jeez.
You know, so I'm like, okay, so this is working now, whatever. Eventually got to the point where my colleagues, the other sales guys, number 2 and number 3, they quit the competition. They told my manager, they're like, I don't even want to participate anymore. Like, this guy's gonna win every single.
We can't beat this guy.
Yeah, like we're not gonna beat this guy. Like, I don't even want to participate anymore.
Do you get commission and stuff on them as well?
Yeah. So every insole that I sold, I got $2 spiff.
Okay.
Every lace I sold, I got 50 cents. So it was minor stuff. Yeah. But I was racking up extra money compared to my colleagues, right? So now looking back at it, we were getting paid like $14 an hour. And then I take home another $400 to $500 in all these upsells.
Not bad, bro.
So it's not a lot of money, but like you start to understand that my performance can impact my paycheck. Yeah. Like the things that I'm doing, yes, I can make more money. I have more potential. I started to see what sales could do for me, right? Like there's unlimited potential there. And obviously, like I think Warren Buffett says this, and like, you know, excuse me if I get this wrong, but he was like, it's not how hard you row, it's the boat that you're in. So I just wasn't in the right boat at that time. I was rowing very, very hard, but the boat was not big enough, you know. So it's only gonna get me so far, right? Like if I'm in a sailboat and I'm trying to go from here to like India or whatever, it's gonna take me a long time. All of a sudden, I get in a yacht, I'm gonna be there a lot faster. So
you can put that same effort in a yacht. You're flying.
You're right. So when it got to the point where these guys quit the competition, I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like they're not on the same level mentally as me, and I need to get out of this.
You want to be around other people like-minded individuals too that are like. I think like your transition into the car sales was probably like just massive because it's like there's no salary behind it. I think you're on salary right now, probably, right?
Oh, my salary is minimal. Like it's all performance based.
It's all performance based. Yeah. So you have that. So you need to actually work to get the paycheck.
Exactly. Yeah. So at that time, I had a conversation with my best friend. He actually started his company recently too, called Cruzy. It's an online driving school. So they're innovators in that space as well. But I had a conversation with him, and he was like, "Yeah, you got to get out of here. Like you've outgrown this place. You need to now like challenge yourself." So I was like, where can I go? What can I do? So car sales seemed like something that would be interesting to me.
So you jumped straight into car sales from there, right?
Yeah. I just made a decision one day. I'm like, you know, I'm going to do this. I laugh about this, but I studied the Omvic book for like 3 months, 4 months. And I went into the exam, and on the day of the exam, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's an open book. Don't worry about it. Take your time.
Yo.
I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, no.
I just studied for it like it was like a university course.
Yeah. I'm like, you know.
Well, at least you know more than the average person now.
That's it. But like for me, the mentality that I have, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do this 100%. I'm not doing this half-assed. Like I'm gonna go at it, right? I get in there and I'm like, I throw the book to the side. I'm like, keep my book. I'm not using the book.
Jeez.
So I just did the exam, and it's very common sense stuff, very simple. Passed the exam, whatever, and then I started taking my resume and going around dealership to dealership, handing it into them, and I started researching dealerships and started to see like which dealership would provide the most volume, most opportunity for me, and which OEM, which brand I wanted to work for. So I picked Parkway Honda actually. Wow. They had a lot of Google reviews. Seemed like they did volume, and Honda, of course, everyone buys Honda. So I'm like, if I want to get into a place where I see opportunity for myself, this seems like the place. So I actually wrote out a cover letter explaining to the sales manager why I think I'm a good fit for the company. And I went in one day, I handed it to him. I asked to speak to the manager. He didn't want to meet with me. Anyways, I gave it to them. They never called me back. Actually, no, I lied. They called me back like 3 weeks after I got hired at Mazda, but they never called me back during the time, right?
In time, yeah.
They called me back in time.
Yeah.
So I handed out all my resumes to the top dealerships, like top OEMs. I've got one resume left. It's my day off. I'm on my way home. And Markham and Finch is where Agincourt Mazda is at.
Yeah.
So I'm just passing by there and I'm like, Mazda, like I don't know nothing about Mazda. I don't want to work at Mazda. So I'm like, what? I got one resume left. I don't want to take this home with me. Let me just drop it off there. Okay. So stop the car, get inside, go to the reception. Like, I want to drop my resume off, like very casually. Yeah. Nothing like, oh, you know what? I need a job.
You weren't even trying.
I wasn't even trying. Like, I didn't really like go in and present myself.
The
like,
best things in life come like that.
It's like usually like that.
Yeah. You just never know, right? Yeah. So I give my resume and I'm literally walking out the door and she's like, hey, wait. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, can you do an interview right now? And I'm like,
who interviewed you? I used to work there too.
Where?
Oh shit!
Agincourt Mazda. Yeah.
No way. When?
I was with the body shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for like a bit, like very, very little. Like, it was like
all the guys in the area have worked at that body shop. Actually, a lot of guys. Yeah. So Hiral actually interviewed me. He's one of the finance managers there. He's one of the finance managers there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So she's like, yeah, can you interview? I'm like, man, you're really putting me on the spot. I haven't prepared for it, nothing like that. So I'm like,
were you like suited up at least?
Yeah, 100%. I would recommend. I have a lot of guys that come sometimes, drop resumes off, even come for interviews, and they don't dress well. I'll tell you right now, as a sales manager, I am dropping you. I'm throwing your resume in the garbage. I'm not taking you seriously.
You're taking it as a joke.
You're taking it as a joke, right? Like if you don't come dressed to impress, like I'm sorry, but no one's taking you seriously in life.
100%.
So if you guys are looking to apply, take that out. Oh yeah. Note that down.
Yeah, so I had my student stuff on, but I'm like, okay, sure, let's do it. Yeah. Puts me in the waiting room. I'm sweating inside. I'm like, what's gonna happen here? I'm not ready for this. Yeah. First time, and even in like a car dealership, right? So I have no idea what they're gonna ask me. No idea what what to expect. But anyways, the finance manager comes out. I see him with a nice suit on. He's got like Ferragamo belt, Ferragamo shoes. I'm like, all right, this guy seems legit. It's going to be a tough interview. So he takes me into his office, started asking me questions, stuff like that. And luckily it was stuff that like I had already read about or I was already training and stuff. It wasn't too hard for me to answer those questions. And then at the ending, he asked me like the magical question. That's like the movie question. Sell me this pen. Right?
Oh, shit.
Yo, I hated that question.
He asked me the question.
I couldn't sell the pen.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, no, I couldn't sell the pen, but I could sell you the car.
So here's the thing with this sell me this pen question, okay? Yeah. The guys that make them, and sometimes I throw this in my sales interviews as well when I'm interviewing sales guys, just for fun, just to see what they would say to me, right? Yeah. The key to the question is you never want to sell the pen. If you want to be a good salesperson, it's not about selling the pen. You got to figure out, qualify the customer first, and then use that information to create need for your product. Right? How can you sell? How can you sell somebody something that they don't need? Right? You have to make them explain to you why they need it, and then tie it in together. Okay. Right? So that's what I did in the interview. I was like, well, what do you do for a living? I don't see you have any nice pens here. What kind of contracts do you sign? This and that. And then started to get into conversation. I was like, well, that, everything you said to me, this is the pen that does that for you. And then sold it like that. Okay. And then he even made it harder for me. He hit me with objection. He's like, I got to talk to my wife. And then I hit him back and I'm like, wait, aren't you the senior financial services manager here? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you make most decisions in the company? He's like, yeah. Well, do you ask your wife every time? Oh, closed. Yeah, done. And he's like, you're the only guy that I've asked this question to that answered it the way I wanted to. Jeez. Yeah. And then he was like, I'm going to hire you. But then he made me speak to the general manager and stuff, and they hired me that day.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Nice. So
how did you feel getting that job? Did you care, or were you just like, oh, whatever?
No, I was super excited. I was stoked. I was stoked. Right, it's a new opportunity for me. I'm leaving the old life behind.
This is your first dealership.
This is my first
interview, and he got it.
First interview, and got the job there. So it was super exciting. I did not take it as a joke. Trust me. I went to the mall. I got all new clothes and everything. I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna come. Like I was dressed as a sales manager on the first day. They're like, what are you doing? I'm looking at the other sales guys. They've got like normal dress shirts on and stuff like that. No tie, and I'm here with a full suit, tie,
making them look bad and shit.
But my sales manager was like, no, I like that. You look like you're ready to work. Let's get to it, right?
For sure. They could see that in you for sure.
Yeah. So I was very excited, and then started the journey at Agincourt Mazda. Jeez. I broke the record for the most sales in the first month. It's been broken ever since now. Like there's been more salespeople that have came and broken my record, but sold like 12 cars in the first month, which is quite strong.
That's really good, bro.
It was good. Yeah, it was solid. Like for the first month, it was very solid.
How were you generating leads? Or were they like leads given to you, or were you like reaching out of your own?
So this is a topic that like I love to speak about. Yeah, very passionate about it. Right. So if in sales, the most important thing is if you want to be a good and successful salesperson, you don't sit around and wait for things to happen. Never, ever. Yeah. You do that, and you'll get depressed really quickly. You're not going to make sales. So I was always with the mindset that what am I doing? How am I being proactive? What seeds am I planting? right? So I remember the first day. I remember this very vividly. I started at 9 a.m. and our shifts were 9 to 6, right? Shifts. There's no shifts in sales, but this is business, right?
You just work.
You just work, right? You leave when the work is done,
exactly.
right? Like Kobe said, job's not done, right?
Exactly.
So 6 o'clock hits. I go to my manager. I'm like, okay, well, nice first day. Thanks for everything. I'm about to go home. He's like, what do you mean go home? It's 6 o'clock. What are you talking about? I'm like, doesn't my shift end at 6? He's like, no. He's like, go to the service desk and grab the list of people that are coming tomorrow for service. I'm like, okay. So I grabbed the list. He's like, call these people and book an appointment for tomorrow for saying you're interested in buying their vehicle and do an appraisal for them tomorrow. Pitch them a new car. So I started doing that. Started calling everybody that had their service appointment tomorrow. I was like, oh, you're coming in for service tomorrow. Thank you so much for servicing your vehicle with Agincourt Mazda. I see you have a beautiful 2018 CX-5. We don't have too many on our pre-owned lot right now. I'd love to look at it, appraise it. I think I can get you great value for it and start the conversation there, right?
And you're actually providing them value too, because you're getting them into a newer whip.
New car, maybe even same monthly payments. Well,
that's the tough part. It's never the same monthly
It's never the same.
Cars are more and more expensive.
Cars are getting more and more expensive, right? And at that time, the market was how it is normally, always negative equity. If you guys don't know what that means the car is worth less than what they owe to the bank, which is always the case.
Oh yeah, of course.
Cars cars are depreciating a lot faster than people paying off their loan. Yes, the market is way different right now, but we're in a crazy time. But in a normal time, cars depreciate a lot faster. So you have negative equity. So I'm working with that. This is my first time in car sales too. So I don't even know anything.
But the finance
and even on top of that, I have no idea what Mazdas are. When I first started, believe it or not, all I knew was a Mazda 3. I did not know what a CX-5 was. I had no idea what a CX-9. I knew nothing. Nothing about the lineup.
You're almost like a blank slate.
Okay. I had to learn the product. I had to learn the processes. I just had that raw sales skill and how to talk to people, how to communicate. The reason why I was able to be so successful so fast is because I had a good mentor. Hiral Shah, the finance manager over there, he invested in me. He took his time, stayed late with me. We used to stay till 12 o'clock at nighttime. He used to be training me, because he saw the drive in me, right? There's one thing about, if you've got a good mentor, he's going to try his best with you, but the student has to be hungry.
Exactly.
The student has to be ready to put in the work, because you both feed off each other's energy, right? So he saw my energy. He's like, this guy wants to succeed. He wants
and if you show that you don't really care, then he's not going to care about you either.
The guy makes a lot of money. He's already established. Why would he take time out of his day to invest in me? But he saw that. He's like, if I invest in this guy, it's going to pay dividends. And then eventually it did, right?
And it's also fulfillment and stuff too. Once you start making a decent amount, once you start making a set amount of money, you start looking for it's not all about the money and stuff.
He taught me that. He taught me that. I didn't really understand that concept before because I wasn't in leadership positions in a job before. But he taught me that. The guy used to do small things which go a long way now. He used to buy us lunch once in a while. He'd take me out, for my birthday, get me a present. When I got married, he gave me a huge present. He didn't have to do all these things, right? But he really invested. Taught me the ins and outs of the industry, and that really accelerated my growth.
I think the key there is just he saw that potential in you, right? Most people, they'll see guys come in and go, but when they see that guy with the potential, they will invest in it. Right?
So one thing in all sales, but especially in the car industry, there's no set training. There's no onboarding process. You get put on the floor and it's sink or swim. You're all,
it's like real estate.
That's what it is, right? Here you go, there's a desk, there's a phone. Go sell some cars. Figure it out. Go sell some cars. There's no onboarding. There's no nothing like that. Right?
Every dealership's like that.
Every dealership. There are some groups where they have a little more structure. Training, but for the most part, now that I'm more into the industry, I know there's really nothing.
Is that how you do your onboarding as well, or?
So it's different at Audi. We really only hire people, and I want to say 100% of the time, but 80% of the time I'd say we hire people that have experience with them because it's a different brand. The clientele are different. The standards are much higher. So before, when I first joined Audi, I was like, you know what, I'll give people shots that haven't been in the industry before because that was me. But now understanding it, even I probably would fail, or I don't want to say fail, but maybe I wouldn't do as well, especially as fast if I jumped into a luxury automotive dealership because it's so much tougher. It's so much more.
It's more service based.
It's service based, but the complexities of the business is at a different level.
Really?
The programs and understanding the models. And think about it, right? Like a Mazda 3, you've got a Mazda 3, you've got a GX, GS, and GT. There's 3 trim levels, and that's it. But for a Q5, you've got the Comfort Progressive Technic, then you've got this option, that option, you can add that on, this package. It's a lot more complex. So take all of that in as a new sales rep learning the processes as well, it's just too much.
Yeah.
So that's the difference there.
Okay.
The way he invested in me, I got to give it to him. I put in the work as well, but the guy really took his time to show me the ropes and just work with me, right?
That's a sick guy, bro.
Did you ask him for help too? Like, did you go out of your way to
all the
ask
time?
Okay,
all the time. If you want to be successful,
you gotta ask for help.
You gotta ask questions. You gotta always be curious, right? If you don't understand anything, don't feel like you're gonna be dumb.
Yeah.
Don't feel like people are gonna look at you like
you're dumb if you don't ask the question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where people make the mistake, right? So I was like, I'm gonna be curious. I want to know. Anytime I didn't understand anything, sometimes I even went overboard where you have to be like, chill, stop. Like, you're too new for this. Don't worry about this right now. Just take it easy, one step at a time. But anytime I didn't understand anything, I'm like, hey, I saw that you did that back there with our customer. Like, what was that? Like, tell me about that, you know? And then he started teaching me. He started to see like I was curious, and then he invested in me, and then it just started to compound. You know?
Jeez, bro. Like, I feel like I don't think I've met many sales guys with as much hunger as you, bro. Seriously. Like, I think that's what attests to all that success that you've had, bro.
And you're more structured too than I've never sat down with a car salesman that's as structured as you.
Like, you're in sales too. You can relate a lot too, right?
Yeah, you have to be structured, right? But I mean, the biggest point that you brought up, the X factor is hunger in sales. So I tell my sales guys too, before I've given them the speech before, being in sales is like we're lions in the savannah. You don't hunt that day, you're not eating.
You're not eating,
right? So however much you want to eat, how big you want to get, you gotta hunt, man.
Depends on what you catch that day.
Exactly. And if you get comfortable, the other guy is going to take your lunch.
Exactly.
If you're sleeping too much because you got too full the other day and now you think like, you know, you've ate enough, you're going to get your territory taken. You're going to get your lunch ate. So that hunger, that passion to keep going, you got to keep that. You got to keep that inside you. But the one thing I'd want to say, now that word came up, this book, I'd say, probably changed my life. And I'm really bad at remembering authors' names, but everybody's got to read this book. It's called The Compound Effect. Right? If you haven't read that book, go read that book. The Compound Effect. Just basic principle of life, how to compound small wins and get them into a snowball effect.
I'm gonna add that to my Amazon list.
Add that, man. Add that. If you haven't read that, it's a must read. If you really apply those principles taught in that book, your life will change drastically. It did that for me, like legitimately. All I started to focus on was the next small win, and all of a sudden it started to snowball.
At what point in your career did you read that one?
That one I actually read even before I started Mr. Safety Shoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So by early on.
Yes.
Darren Hardy, right?
Yes, that's by Darren Hardy. They teach a concept in that called the Big Mo, which is momentum, right? Once you have momentum on your side, you guys know how it is.
Of course.
If you look at a freight train, it's so big, it's so massive, it's very hard to get it moving. But once that thing is moving, it's crushing every
referrals and this and that.
Jeez, I love that.
And it's not, I'm not even talking about just sales, because I think one of the things that's really helped me out in becoming a really good, sales professional and being good in my career, advancing so fast, is I don't really just focus on the career part of things or sales part of things. I'm looking at it as a holistic point of view. How can I be better as a person, as a human being, right? Taking care of all the other aspects of my life. I teach this to my sales guys all the time. You got to take care of yourself first. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to crash and burn.
Yeah, because in sales, if you really think about it, like, you are one of the primary assets, right? Like, people are going to come in. The car is going to sell itself for the most part. But, like, the way you deliver that experience and, like, just the way you make the client feel is what's going to make them come back.
You're representing that car for that moment.
You're creating, like, a marriage.
100%. You're creating an experience, right?
Exactly.
So what I tell them is, like, you're a professional, right? These people are coming in, especially now at Audi, it's a whole different experience. You got to think about it. Some of these people are coming in, it's their first luxury vehicle. It's a big deal in your life. Spending $60, $70, $80, $100,000 on a car, not everybody can do that.
100%.
It's tough. You worked hard to get to that level. So like, people coming into the dealership, they expect a certain level of like prestige, service and experience, right? So I'm like, if you buy a ticket to go watch like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, you're expecting a top tier performer. You're expecting a show. So when these people come into the dealership, you got to put on a show. Don't let whatever's going on in your personal life, affect this right now. Because you're doing them injustice. They're paying top dollar. When they come through that door, get ready to give them the best you've got.
They could be at any luxury dealership. They came here today.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So if you don't leave that impression, you don't give them that experience, like, I'm sorry, but it's not going to cut it. The competition is tough. So you better be ready, right? And the way you do that is you got to take care of yourself. You got to do the right things to advance yourself, you know, make yourself a better human being, you know, advance as a person. Personal development is huge.
Eat good, sleep good. Like, obviously, if you're not sleeping on time, you're going to wake up, go to the dealership. Your eyes are going to be, you know what I mean? It's all important things, bro.
Think about it. Like, you go to sleep late because you were out partying last night. Now all of a sudden you miss your alarm. You know, you snooze. You wake up in an anxious state. You're like, I'm running late for work. I'm rushing this and that. You quickly put on your suit. You don't look your best, right? Now you're in the car. Now you're rushing to work. You might get a speeding ticket. Now you feel even worse. Now you're after work 10 minutes late. Your sales manager gives you a hard time. Do you think you're gonna have the best day possible that day? No, you're not.
You're still catching up. You're still catching up. You're still waking up.
You're still catching up, right? So the one thing that's really helped me, which I've locked in now, is a morning routine. You don't have a morning routine, you're not living your best life.
What's your morning routine? Why don't you share your morning routine?
So this has taken me a while to really develop.
Everyone's morning routine is going to be different, but there's some basic core principles. What are yours?
This has taken me a while. I've really refined this over the last couple of years. I think now I've got it down to like a T, you know? So alarm goes off at 5:50 in the morning. People always ask me, it's a weird time to wake up, but I've calculated exactly how much time it takes to do things. 5:50 I got to get up. 5:50 I get up. You don't touch your phone. Do not touch your phone. You touch your phone first thing in the morning, you're allowing yourself to get exposed to any negative thing, any outside source. You don't know how that's going to impact you. So just hit the alarm off, put it aside, go straight to the washroom, and something cold right in your face. Water, obviously, right? So one of the guys that I listen to, if you guys don't know him, Ed Milet.
Ed Milet.
Love Ed Milet.
He's sick.
But he actually lives on Laguna Beach in California. So he jumps right into the ocean. Sometimes. But that's a goal, that's a dream of mine one day, right? To wake up and jump into the cold ocean. It shocks your nervous system, right? Makes you wake up. If you wake up in the morning and you're tired and you take some cold water and splash it right in between your eyes, you're not going back to sleep.
After a while, it hurts good.
It hurts amazing.
You hurt, but in a good way. In a good way.
You enjoy the pain. So I'll wake myself up like that, and then I'll go downstairs and I'll take some pre-workout and just get the day started. Good old pre-workout. Nice. Best pre-workout right now, Altered State.
Really?
Altered State. You gotta try it. Really good. So take the pre-workout and then I'll go and pray. Right, start the day off. Make a prayer in the morning, and
praying is a huge, bro. It's like praying, meditating. You're still talking to the Creator.
God, bro.
It really like brings everything together. It makes you feel at peace, you know. Just and part of it as well in life is spiritual, right? That's one part that you have to take care of, like physically, it's massive, mentally, spiritually. You gotta all check off all the boxes.
It kind of puts you on autopilot.
It does. It does.
You kind of put you on autopilot, you know.
And the biggest thing about praying is what you got to do is not ask for too much first. The first thing I do is give gratitude. And just remind myself of all the things that I'm grateful for. Because anything could be happening, but we're blessed, man.
We're super blessed.
We're in Canada. We've got great families.
Shelter.
We've got food over. Like these small things. If you don't remind yourself of these small things, then the small things will start to bother you, right? So you really got to be grateful for this stuff and attract more to your life. So I'll just talk about first the things that I'm grateful for and then pray for the things that I want, right? Put that into the universe too. Like, you know, I'm grateful for the things that I have, but I also want to improve. I want to get better every single day, right? Do all that. And then this is something that I knew that I've started, but it's really helped. I'll shut my eyes and I'll talk to myself and I'll say, like, now I'm in control of my brain. Anything that happens to me during this day, I'm going to be the one that controls how I react to it. Get my brain locked in, focused, because so many distractions in our day-to-day,
there
right?
is, bro.
Like social media,
this app, that app.
And like negative news coming and this and that. So many problems. So like lock in, center myself, go to the washroom one more time, and then I hit the gym. And I've got a gym inside my house.
Nice.
Built a home gym. So
I've seen that.
I got everything in there, so I don't really need to go anymore. It's super clutch.
Are you still working out from home, or have you
I'm working out from home. I don't have enough time in the morning because my drive to work and stuff, it takes a while too. So I'll go work out in the morning, get a solid hour to hour 15 minutes, and then hit the shower, get ready for work, hit the road by 8:25 and drive to work. And when I'm first starting off in the gym, I'll listen to 5 to 10 minutes of some sort of like motivational video, positive talk, stuff like that. People think it's corny, but at the end of the day,
it works, bro.
You've got to condition your mind. Whatever you're inputting into the mind is what's going to be output later on, right? So I'm conditioning my mind every single day. No matter what happened yesterday, today's a new day. reset. You got to be proactive. You got to be hungry. You got to stay motivated. It's tough to be motivated, man.
Yeah. Consistently, like, too, right?
Consistently. There's going to be days where you're going to feel like, oh,
I don't want to go in today, bro.
Yeah, there's going to be days when even if you wake up and do all those things, you're still going to feel like shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm conditioning my mind right there. Even waking up that early in the morning and working out is a challenge. I'm not going to lie. It's tough.
Yeah.
Right? Like now I've gotten the rhythm of it, so it gets a bit easier. Compound effect.
Yeah.
But it's still tough. It's still tough. So I'll wake up and I'll listen to that. Puts me in a good mood. And then as I'm working out, I used to listen to music. I don't do that anymore. Now I listen to a podcast. Right?
Yeah.
I listen to a podcast. So the podcast that
what kind of podcast you listen to?
So I love Impact Theory. Tom Bilyeu. Oh man, that's an amazing podcast. Ed Milet, of course. Right? Those are the two main ones that I've been listening to recently. But anything that's really good, right? I'll listen to random talks. Like there's this guy at Ramit Sethi. He gave a talk to Google employees. Right? I listen to stuff like that.
He's a finance guy.
Yeah, he's a finance guy. I listen to Patrick Bet-David from time to time. Minority Mindset, Jaspreet Singh, right? So whatever's out there that's good content, I'll just listen to that. Like listen about like what's going on in the world, and just how to get better in life, right? Things that I'm focusing on, like skills, like sales, negotiation, leadership.
Bro, it all adds up.
It all adds up. It's a lifestyle. What people don't understand, this is a lifestyle. This is a path you've chosen, and it all ties in together, right? Like if you think about it, all these guys that I'm listening to, they do all this stuff too. They have good relationships with their wives, with their mothers, with their kids, with their friends. They're also good business leaders. They also do the good habits, like eating good,
routine, everything.
Exactly.
Right?
Like I've learned these things from listening to these podcasts and these influencers. Right? It's all about who you're listening to and how that's going to impact you. So yeah, those are the ones that I'm listening to in the morning. Nice. Get the workout in and then shower and get ready for work.
So taking how much he's done from just like 5:50 to like 8:30. See, like that's what it takes, you know.
And you can't get distracted during those things. You gotta stay. You gotta be strict on that schedule too.
I gotta be strict on the schedule, and my wife knows this. I miss 1 minute, it throws everything off. So it also teaches me how to live with urgency. Right? I gotta keep moving forward. I can't rest too long in my workout, otherwise I won't be able to complete the entire workout. You know what I mean? So things like that.
And once you do it so many times, it gets so calculated.
It gets very calculated.
What time do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to sleep at 12 o'clock.
So you get 5 hours of sleep. 5 hours.
6 hours. Yeah, 5.
Just under 6.
Just under 6. Some days I won't lie. Midweek I get tired. I'm very in the morning after that kind of routine. Oh, you're feeling like a beast. You're ready to go. We were speaking about this before the camera turned on. When you get into work, I'm looking at some of my colleagues. They're walking in like zombie. Like, oh, I need a coffee. I'm still waking up, and I'm just like fired up. I'm like ready to go. I'm like I'm attack mode. You know. And they're like, whoa, this guy is like, who
is this guy?
Yeah, some next energy. I'm in the sales meeting in the morning with my guys. I'm just trying to pump them up and fire them up. Like, what did you listen to today? You know? So that's key. But then at like maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock, I start to like come down a little bit.
It's natural, right?
It's natural.
You're up since 6 and you put in all those hours, right?
That's already 12 hours deep.
Yeah, exactly. So but I go to sleep at 12 o'clock, get 6 hours of sleep. On Sundays I'll sleep a little bit. I'll sleep in a little bit. So I'll wake up at maybe like
10 one day to sleep in.
You need to. You need to. I learned this from 50 Cent has a good book too. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Wow.
Yeah, listen to that. Love 50 Cent, by the way. He's a hustler, man.
He's
no matter what you say about that guy, he is a hustler.
He's been hustling.
He's been hustling, man. He never allowed himself to calm down, right? He's always on the next, chasing the next win too.
Exactly.
So in
like
his
he
book,
said back in the days, get rich or die trying.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly.
Can't forget that one.
That's a good workout. Good.
Oh, you listen to that?
Yeah.
Listen to What Up Gangsta in the morning.
Yeah, yo.
Crushing those weights.
100%.
Many Men used to be my alarm clock sound.
Really?
Yeah.
Guy's waking up with a Glock beside his bed. But yeah, he said that in his book. He's like, like 6 days, go hard. 1 day sleep in a little bit, allow your body to reset, and then get at it again the next week.
Is there a reason you sleep so late? Like, what are you doing at the nighttime?
I'll be honest, I sometimes don't get home till 10 p.m.
Okay.
So I'm working all day. All day. Even if I get into the office at 9 a.m., I won't be finished until 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then the drive home takes another 35 minutes. Sometimes I get home like by 9 o'clock, but never earlier than that.
But think about it. You're getting home at 9, 10, and you gotta fit in all these other things in those little times. So that makes sense.
Yeah, getting home at 9, 10.
You're really efficient, bro. Holy shit.
It's hard, man. It's definitely tough. And then the biggest thing is now that I'm married, coming home, and I was at my friend's wedding the other day, and one of the imams, the priest, he said this. He's like, it's on the husband when no matter what he goes through during the day, when he comes home, you've got to be able to manage your energy.
Yes.
You don't bring home any of the stuff from work back home, right? You need to be there for your family. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
So even doing that, being mentally aware and just, present at that time and be able to give to my family, that's also a challenge.
That's another new challenge.
That's another new challenge.
You still got to maintain your energy and still be present. Because like right now, I live alone. So after I'm done, once I'm burnt out, I come home and like I shut off. Like I'm off. But like you can't do that.
I can't do that.
You got to stay on. You got to stay on.
Yeah. And there's days where I just want to come home and do nothing, right?
Yeah.
But my wife is great. Like she's very understanding. She helps me out. She supports me through all that.
She's actually here right now.
Yeah, she's here right now. Shout out Fizza. Love you. But yeah, just being there, being present for your family as well. My mom too. My mom lives with us as well.
Yeah.
I don't get to see her as much as well. So doing that. So by the time I'm done, I'm going home to sleep at 12 o'clock.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
And then wake up the next morning and do it again.
How is automotive sales different from typical retail sales? Is there any difference at all? And what skills do you think are essential to succeeding in automotive sales?
Good question. I don't think that like the way I look at it, my perspective on it is sales is sales, right? It doesn't really matter what you're selling. Of course, there's going to be certain things to every single industry where it's different to that, like product knowledge and
minor things.
Yeah, right? Minor things that you're going to have to know, the ins and outs of the industry. But at the end of it, the core of it, sales is sales. There's basic things that you need to know. There's core skills that you have to have. So to answer your question, actually, somebody DM'd me about this the other day, and I get these questions a lot. People ask me all the time, like, you know what, I'm thinking about getting into sales. I don't know if it's for me, whatever have you. So if I'm going to answer the question as what I think the 3 main skills are to be successful in sales, the first thing I'd say is communication. You gotta be a good communicator, right? And what people don't understand is communication is not just being able to speak or talk. You got to be able to listen too. That's a huge part of communication.
And make those matches and like, really figure out who is in front of you and you're a matchmaker pretty much.
To be a salesperson is to be a consultant.
Yes.
You need to be able to qualify your clients big. If you can't do that, if you cannot understand what the pain points are of your clients, what problems they're looking to solve, you cannot find a solution for them. The best salespeople in the world are solution-oriented people, right? They're problem solvers. At the end of the day, that's what creates value in the marketplace. When you're able to solve problems for people, they're going to pay you any money that you ask them to, as long as you can solve their problem, right? So communication is one of the biggest things. Being able to speak, being able to present, but also effectively listen, and then use the information that people are giving you to provide them with a solution that's tied to your product, right? The second thing I would say is coachability and curiosity. Right? So you need to be able to be coachable. If you're that type of guy that thinks, I know everything and this and that, you're not going to be able to excel, right? You need to be.
You stay right there.
You'll stay right there. You'll get to a certain level, but you'll peak at that level, right? There's always somebody that knows more than you. So you got to be able to actively seek that information. And when you get feedback, you got to be able to understand it's just constructive feedback. Take it in a positive way. I think that really helped me out. I was always open. I saw some of my colleagues who started off at the same time as me, but just didn't excel as fast because anytime they were given feedback, they didn't take it in a positive way.
They're like, this guy's trying to tell me what to do and shit.
They get defensive very fast.
This guy's trying to break me down.
You know what I mean? They're like, no, I did it right. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, yes, you may have done it right. Other person might be wrong, but always listen to what they say.
How could I have done it better?
How could I have done it better, right? And just try to listen to what they're saying. You may not agree with everything the person is saying, but take some points from it, right? Improve your game. We can always get better, all of us, right? There's no one that gets to a level where you're like, I can't get any better. If you get to that level,
or what level you're at.
It doesn't matter. You're a professional athlete, you run a restaurant, you're a business owner, it doesn't matter what craft you're in, you can always get better. So being able to be coachable, and I'll tie that into curiosity as well. The best guys in sales are the guys that are curious. They're asking the most questions. They want to know. They want to learn more. They want to get better. They want to look at other people and say, hey, that guy did that pretty well. I do that well too, but I could improve in this, right? Let me go find out what he does. Let me go read this book. Let me keep up to date with the newest software, the technologies, the information on the market. They're curious.
It kind of ties into the hunger a little bit too there.
That's the last point.
Okay.
You see, he's thinking before I am. So he's ahead of me. But the last point is hunger. It comes simply down to hunger. I remember when they interviewed me at Mazda, the GM asked me this question. He's like, what do you think separates two salespeople, right? They've got the same set of skills, you know, same background, you know, they've got some experience and all that. What do you think separates them? And at that time, like, I had already went through like 2 hours of interviewing, so I was like stumbled. I don't know. But it was like, comes down to the hunger. There's gonna be one guy who's gonna look at time. It's gonna be 6 o'clock. I gotta go to a party. I gotta go do this. I gotta do that. And there's another guy who's staying back at the office, making those extra calls, you know, booking those appointments, you know, generating more leads. It's the hunger that separates people at the end of the day, right? Especially in sales, like, you can make unlimited amounts of money. People know that, right? No matter your car sales and real estate, tech sales, insurance sales, doesn't matter. Most of the guys that are doing well in sales, they're making 6 figures plus, right? And a lot of people get complacent. But how do you break past that barrier? It comes down to the hunger. The guys are at the top of the industry. They never get complacent. They're always they're happy. You have to be grateful for what you've accomplished and where you are, but you're always hungry for the next level. There's a ways to, you know, really great interview, and I would recommend everybody to go watch this interview. It was Ed Milet and Tim Grover. Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's coach. Michael Jordan's coach.
He has a book too.
He has got a book as well, Unstoppable.
He has 2. I think it's Relentless.
Yes, Relentless is one of them.
And then
I think Unstoppable, Unbreakable is the other one. I'm getting the name wrong. I haven't read the book, but this interview, you got to watch it. But he talks about this. He's like, what separated Kobe was he was always chasing the next win. Right? He was happy with where he was at. He was happy with what he accomplished, but he was always chasing the next win until he died. You know, rest in peace, Kobe. Favorite basketball player of all time. Yeah, you know, I got a lot of the mindset stuff from him as well. Right? If you think about it, that guy was a worker. He was in the hunger. Again, comes down to the hunger. This guy was hungry.
But like, he enjoyed it though. Like, he enjoyed like the smell of the basketball.
Oh man, they talk about competitive nature. This guy was a beast. That was a machine, bro. So that's what separates people, right? Like, he used to talk about it all the time. He's like, oh, I'm in the off season, and I'm talking to the Dwayne Wades and the Chris Bosches and the Carmelo Anthonys of the world, and they're going on a vacation together, Bora Bora and this and that. What's he doing? He's in the gym. He's in the gym. He's conditioning. He's getting ready for next season, right? Is that hunger that separates the people? When you get to a certain level, everyone's going to be, you know, having a good education or, you know, certain skill set. They know what they're doing, but that hunger is what really separates people. Mentality is what separates people, right? Why is the lion the king of the jungle? He's not the biggest. He's not the fastest. He's not the smartest.
Because he knows he is.
He's a killer. You know what I mean? His mentality is what separates a lion. When he walks into the room,
everybody knows.
He
doesn't even say he's a lion.
Doesn't need to say. So the 3 things, again, just to recap, it would be communication, curiosity and coachability, and then hunger. Right, those are the 3 main skills, like what I would say from my perspective, to be successful in sales.
Do you talk to us a little bit about how you were able to take the Mazda dealership from the 20th place to 5th place?
You know, he does that with like every dealership he goes to, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so at Mazda, again, it all comes down to the core principles, right, in sales. And I shared my mentality with the guys there, and we're able to build a culture there. It's not only me. Like, I can't do it alone. Never. It's the entire team. But as a leader over there, you have to instill a certain mindset, a certain culture. So what we were really able to do at Mazda was build a culture of being proactive. Planting a lot of seeds, going after business, right? A lot of salespeople and a lot of people in the industry, they'll sit down and wait for things to happen. So some of the bigger dealerships, when things got slow, they're like, oh, it's okay. Sales will pick back up. You know, customers will come in. We were at a tough spot. If anybody knows where Markham and Finch is, that intersection is dead. There is nothing around there. There is nothing around there. There's no traffic. There's
people
no
are
mall.
Just driving by.
They're just driving by, right? So we didn't have the luxury of having foot traffic at that dealership. Everything we did was proactive. My guys would hit the phone and be on the phone all day. They would be in the service drive all day. So we were able to build something called a DOR, a daily operating rhythm for them, right? And sales is very key. You got to understand, if you're, again, I said this at the starting as well, but if you're stagnant, if you're complacent, if you're waiting for things to happen, they're not going to happen. So we taught them, like, what are some areas where you can focus on and make sure that you do this, complete these tasks every single day, generate activity, which will lead to sales. So for them, it was like, make one Facebook Marketplace post one day, post a used car over there, make an Instagram post per day. Tell the community who you are, which dealership do you work for, what things do you have to offer, right? And then reach out to 2 service drive clients per day, 2 people that are servicing their vehicle at the dealership that day. Go and speak to them. Go and reach out to them. Say that, yo, I'm Saad. I'm one of the salespeople over here. You know, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for doing business with Agincourt Mazda. You've got a beautiful 2018, 2019, 2020, and I think we can get you a really good value for it. And I've got some really good options for you for a new car. You might have to have a seat with me and take a look at them. So you're not going to get everybody like that.
Yeah.
We all know sales is a numbers game, right?
It is.
But you reach out to 10 people, I guarantee you one person's going to come back and be like, what do you have to offer? I've got 10 minutes. Let's listen to what you got. All of a sudden, you sold a car. Right? So that's the culture we built there. Like, we don't wait for things to happen. We're proactive. We're planting seeds. And those seeds are going to harvest one day. So while everybody else was sitting around waiting for things to happen, these guys were making things happen. Now the new sales manager over there, his name is Tony, but this guy did something at the dealership when I was there. I've never seen this before. We have a system where it's all of our database customers. He called a customer on a Friday. I remember this vividly. It was a Friday. Sales were a bit slow. It was like December. I'm like, Tony, I need some sales, man. Like, you're my top guy. Like, get me a sale. Do something for me. He's like, okay, I got you. He goes on the system. He calls a customer driving a 2019 CX-5, brings her in on her lunch break, and in 1 hour lunch break, sold her a new car.
Wow.
Jeez.
Think about it. If you think about it, this person woke up that day thinking it was a normal day. I'm going to work. I'm going to come home. Everything's going to be fine. And because the efforts of one individual being proactive, she bought a new car that day. That's the power of having a proactive mindset. Right? So these guys like had that mindset every single day. I'm going to put the best foot forward. I'm going to plant seeds. And eventually, you know, all those seeds, like some of them will die, but some of them will harvest. And that's how we were able to grow that dealership, really put it on the map, top 5 dealership eventually in the Mazda world, which was really successful for us. If anybody knows, that dealership is a tough dealership to work at. Right? Because of the geographical location, doesn't do as much volume historically. So it was really big. Yeah. We're really proud of everything we were able to accomplish over there.
You built up these dealerships during the pandemic. So how did you like kind of like pivot during that period? Like what were you doing differently than everybody else? Because like I think everybody else is just kind of just waiting for somebody else to kind of take leadership, and you know, so how did you quickly pivot? Like, did you have like a team that kind of helps you make the decisions, or a lot of these things that you're telling your guys to do, is it like are you getting these from the books? Like where'd you get these from?
So we're very lucky because we're owned by Dilawri Group, right? Dilawri Group is the largest automotive group in Canada for a reason. These guys are innovators. They're hard workers, and they have the mentality. The upper management has that mentality. They're the ones who obviously taught us about the service drive and to be proactive and stuff. And we have to run with it. But these were, you know, the things that Dilawri Group teaches. So one thing that they really made a big pivot on during the pandemic, which I think we were one of the pioneers to do this, is virtual sales. Yeah. Right? If you guys remember during the pandemic when it first happened, dealerships were shut down. Nobody could come through the door. Yeah. So
it wasn't essential, right?
Yeah. It was locked down. But like at a certain point it became appointment only, but at a certain point we were not allowed to have any customers into the showroom. Wow. So we were selling cars. When we first did this was insane. Now it's normal, but we sold cars on FaceTime. On FaceTime. Jeez. This was never done before. Like, if you think about it, buying a $40,000-$50,000 product strictly on FaceTime.
You're not even looking at the car.
You're not even like when you want to buy a car. What do you do?
See it, touch it, feel it, sit inside.
What's
right?
one
you want to drive it?
There we go.
Drive
the biggest thing is, let me come in for a test drive. Right. That's how we used to hook people. We're come in and test drive the car. You're gonna love it. You know, drives great. Got new features. Take that portion out of it. Imagine how challenging it gets. Right. So we're able to start. And I'm not saying we did all of our sales like that or sold like 100 cars like that, but just getting that first one, that second one, started to give us the confidence and show us the opportunity.
It is possible, it's
possible, right? So the pandemic really forced people to adapt, but we were proactive in adapting, right? Dilawri really made that change. They called it Dilawri Anywhere at that time. That was the branding that they used for it. But their whole thing was you can buy a car from home. And at that time, that was
revolutionary.
It was revolutionary.
Are people still doing that right now?
Now it's like normal. Like
people
are like, yo, I don't want to come in.
Yeah,
the cases are high or whatever.
Not even the cases are high. Now people have gotten like used to that. They've gotten accustomed to that. Especially at Audi, if you think about it, the clientele that we're serving, these are people that are extremely busy. Like high-level executives, business owners. Like these people have busy lives. They don't have time to come into the dealership. Right? So it's like, I'll talk to you.
I looked at it online.
They already know everything about the car.
I've driven German cars my whole life. I'm sure it's great. You know, just work out the payments for me. Okay, done. Send me a DocuSign. Right? So getting accustomed to DocuSign and, FaceTime. We used to do presentations on the car on FaceTime. So I had, open the phone, walk around the car. Oh, look at this is feature. This is a new feature here. This is how the wheels look. This is the interior. Look at the cargo space. Yada, yada, yada. And we started selling cars like that. Right? That was a big pivot at that time. Online sales.
DocuSign. Lots
DocuSign.
DocuSign's the best.
DocuSign was like God's gift to the automotive industry.
Trust
me. Legitimate. Now we like a lot of the cars. I'd say 60% of the cars we sell these days is DocuSign. No joke. At Audi especially.
It just makes the most sense, bro.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Right.
You just touch it. You just tap it and then
you tap it. You put your payment on there and like you're done. That's it. Like so seamless. But at that time, we're scared to even like offer that. To even ask for the business on the phone was like, oh, I don't know what should I do. You know what I mean?
You just push through it. You just did it, right?
Yeah. So now it's just like, I'm gonna send you a DocuSign. You're okay with the payments? Cool. Here you go. Done.
Right? Sick, bro.
Once you act like it's normal and you know it's nothing new to you guys, then obviously for the customer it's like, okay, I guess this is how it goes.
This is how life is now.
And the thing is, like now customers also see their friends, their family, like everybody doing it.
Yeah.
And now we have companies like Canada Drives and things of that nature too, right? So like online purchasing for vehicles is becoming a new normal.
It's a whole new world now too.
Yeah.
So speaking about Canada Drives, like there's a lot of different companies that are like online sales only. How do you feel about that, being in the industry? That's almost a disruptor, right? So being in the industry and you seeing these like new apps and like new services coming out, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think they're going to take over, or do you think people are still going to want to deal with the license like dealership? Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely right. It's a disruptor. Like they are, innovating, and we have to adapt as well. So luckily we are doing that. Like Dilawri Group is doing that. A lot of other groups are doing that as well. But I do still think, and there's been a lot of surveys on this with consumers, I think 60% of them say they still prefer to do a test drive at the physical dealership before they sign the document, right? Or they prefer to actually meet someone in person when purchasing something like that. If you think about it, it's a lot of money people are spending. And they want to have a connection with somebody. They want somebody that they can rely on and call and have confidence in. So I think for that aspect of it, we're still like, leading. We still have a chance to survive in this industry. And the second thing I'd say is they have to service the vehicle somewhere as well. Right? So having a service center at the dealership is huge. It's still a huge asset for us. They know the people that they bought the car from. They're servicing with them. So if they have any issues,
that's what the real profits are in services, right?
I mean, yes and no, right? Their overhead is quite high as well.
Okay.
But servicing is a huge aspect of the business as well, right? You can't take away one thing in sales. Sales is built on this is relationships. Right? You really can't take that away. No form of AI, no form of technology can take that away.
That person-to-person touch is
the human-centric connection, like that, you can't take that away. So I think that's where, like, we have to adapt. It has to become, we call it an omni-channel way of doing business. Where we're offering the customer the ease of doing business online. Yes, we can serve you online, but if you'd like to come in, we also have that. So that's where we have the edge. Right? We're giving the customer the choice
to talk to an actual person.
We're giving them the choice, and customers, clients want a choice. They want to feel like they have an option, right? So if you give them the option of doing the entire transaction online, if that's what suits your needs, I got you covered. But if you want to come in anyway through the process, we also got you covered. That's where I think, like, if we continue to evolve on the online side of things, the way that Canada Drives is and some of these other companies are, and we keep up this side as well, then we'll be able to survive in the industry.
For sure.
If you don't have your online presence right now and you got the physical side of things, you will die in this industry, right?
You will die.
You definitely will. But if you keep on working on both sides and evolve, then we should be okay. At least for the next 10 to 15 years. Who knows what's going to happen after that? But in the short term things, I think we should be okay.
Okay.
It was crazy though. I remember when I first started at Mazda, when I was leaving the security industry, I made the decision to go to automotive sales. I told my grandparents, and at that time, you know what they told me? They were like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of people that are successful in the industry, but if it doesn't work out for you, you can always drive Uber." I swear to God, they were like, "Oh, don't worry. If it doesn't work out, you can always go revert back to Uber. As long as you're making $3,000 a month, you'll be okay. You'll pay the bills." Yeah.
So that mindset, geez.
Yeah. So that was crazy as well. To hear that from my own family. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's how much belief you've got in me. You're gonna tell me that, like, and I can go back to Uber if I didn't succeed.
Were you doing Uber before?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know where it came from. You know what I mean? It's like everybody was doing it at the time. But it's like, if security doesn't work out, don't worry. You can always just,
But I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially during that time, I remember because in car sales, automotive sales, it's strictly commission as a salesperson, right? So even my friends were like, strictly commission, like, you guys know, in any role where it's strictly commission, a lot of people look at you funny, like, really, strictly commission?
You want to take that chance?
They're kind of like, why would you do that? Like, why would you want that?
Are you sure? You know what I mean? I'm like, I believe in myself. The amount of money that I could make in my industry, Like you can get to the top level of wherever you're working, and you won't make that much. You won't make that much.
Only sales. Sales is like yo, you have no ceilings.
You have no ceiling. Yes, I have to work extremely hard for it, but I know that if I put in that work, then I can make as much as I want to make, right? You can put in as much work as you want, but you're capped. Because you got a certain salary, your boss tells you this much you make, and the correlation between your efforts and your income is not directly tied.
Yeah. So eventually, you're gonna cap yourself off.
You're gonna cap yourself off, right?
There's no true incentive, right?
So I remember at that time, like even my friends were like, "Are you sure you want to do this, man? Like commission only? Are you sure you're gonna make money? You're gonna be able to pay the bills and whatnot?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going for it."
Yeah.
And then you just, you work hard and you go for it, and sky's the limit.
Why cars?
I honestly can't answer that question truthfully. I'm not a car guy. You know, people ask me all the time, do you have a passion for cars or anything like that? I'm not a car guy. I love great cars. I love driving like really nice vehicles. Of course, I like to own nice cars as well. But at the same time, I'm not one of these people that like know everything about cars, the ins and outs, the engines, and I'm replacing mufflers and trying to... I'm not that type of guy. I honestly don't even know as much about cars as some of the other people do in the industry. I have a passion for sales, for leadership, and things like that. But at that time, like I said, I was trying to explore where I could go into, and automotive sales seems like something that I could get myself into, and I went for it.
So for like the kid who's thinking about getting into becoming like a car dealer, what are a few steps that you would recommend that kid to be doing right now?
Great question. I get this question a lot as well, and I was very happy. I had this 18-year-old kid reach out to me on Instagram, and he was like, "Look, I'm in high school right now. I've been following you for quite a while now. You've done well for yourself, and I also want to go into car sales one day. Like, what should I be doing right now?"
He's doing the right thing. He's reaching out directly to the fucking manager.
That's one of the things I mean, I didn't tell him that because he already done it, but that's something that I would recommend. Like if you ask that question for anybody listening to this, like reach out to the people in the industry that you're going to that are already successful, right? Ask them the things of what you should be doing, because they've guaranteed made mistakes already in that journey, and they can reflect back and be like, I did that wrong, I did that wrong, I did this right, you should be doing this, this, and this, right? So great on that kid for reaching out. But I told him to work on his communication, to work on his presentation skills, to work on his marketing, right? And just understand the way that the sales industry works, the way that the sales world works, So read as much books as possible, listen to podcasts, and just get yourself in the right mentality. Because like I said before, sales is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle,
right? Yeah. To be able to perform at the highest level in sales, you've got to be able to take care of yourself. And if you see the top business people in the world, I mean, like it's obvious, right? They're all fit. Right, they all eat well. They've all got good relationships. They're into business and finance. They're all doing the right things. They're all putting in the effort to do the right small habits every single day. And that's what I told them.
There's that specific formula, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, read as much as possible. Attend seminars. Reach out to the people that are successful in the industry, and you'll be okay.
You know, it's crazy. A lot of car dealers won't say that. You're actually the first one to even say that I personally met.
What's that?
To talk about like the actual the core fundamentals of like sales and all that stuff. You're more sales based than like.
I'm more sales based.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people miss out. Right. Like at the end of the day,
you're still in sales.
You're still in sales. Like I said, like you asked me that question before. Like, what about like how do you become successful in car sales? And you can't look at it like that. Sales is sales at the end of the day. At the basic principles of it, right? There's a really good book that I'm reading right now. Which, if you're in sales, read this book. It's called How to Master the Art of Selling. And again, I'm terrible with authors' names, but this is a fantastic book. This is like the encyclopedia for salespeople.
Wow.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like you got to pick this book up.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm just reading it right now. Get this book. It's a very content-heavy book. A lot of great principles, and it's not a book that you can just read because it forces you to apply the things that you're learning.
Yeah. Those are the best ones.
It gives you exercises to do.
Yeah.
So right now, like I listen to things on Audible. That's how I read. I can't do this one on Audible because it's asking me to do certain things. So I've got to order the textbook, like the actual hard copy.
So you can write it down.
I can write down what it's telling me to do and then practice those things. And that's how you get better, right? Through practice, through repetition. So that's a really good book.
Okay.
But just studying sales and studying like the lifestyle and studying how you can get better, that's what's going to be the key.
Okay.
So going into sales, bro, and then working your way up to like a managerial position, did you have that vision when you walked into the dealership, or did it just kind of just happen? They saw the manager in you?
Definitely had the vision. Definitely. I didn't know what happened that fast. Didn't know how long it would take me.
That was really fast, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The thing is, like, I was blessed with certain opportunities that came my way, and I showed that I was prepared. And even though I wasn't, I just told myself I'm prepared. Yeah. And I just jumped into it.
Yeah.
I could have said, no, I'm not ready to do this. But I was given an opportunity by the general manager at that time who was brand new. His name was Paul Chan. He was brand new general manager at that time. I remember this. He brought me into his office and he was like, look, you're a young kid right now, and I'm a new GM. that was actually his first GM spot. So Dilawri gave him a chance too. Right? He's new in his role as well. He's like, I'm rolling the dice on you right now. If you mess this up, I lose my job.
Oh, wow.
He had that conversation. He looked me in the eyes like, look, I'm rolling the dice on you right now. So no pressure, but you better bring it. I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to teach you, but you got to run with this and you got to make things happen. You got to learn fast. Like, I'm only 8 months in the industry, Paul. He's like, well, you better learn quick then. All right. So he rolled the dice on me, took a chance on me, and there was some rough times at the starting, man. I can't even lie. I'm not gonna say it was a smooth. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it was a smooth process and I picked it up right away. That was not the case. It was a lot being thrown at me at that time, and I was there from like 9 a.m. to 12 midnight every single day for 4 months. It was tough. So many things, trying to learn, trying to perform, trying to get better. And this guy is tough. He's a Vietnamese guy, so he's old school. He's militant. All right. He's not like the people today where he's gonna take it easy on you. This guy is militant. He wants everything done in a proper way, like this. He's gonna hold you to a high standard. He's not gonna forget when he asks you to do something. Right? Some people will be like, just do this, and if you don't do it, it's okay. No, he's gonna call you out in front of everybody too. Which may not be the most effective for most people. It might not be the most effective, but luckily for me, I had very thick skin, and I was like, bring it. I told him, like, put the pressure on me. Like, I'm not gonna. This is what he told me. He's like, I'm gonna push you to the point where either you're gonna break or you're gonna become a diamond. He's like, that's how much pressure I'm gonna put on you. Like, if you look at a coal, what happens, right? You put the pressure on the coal. Either that coal breaks or becomes a diamond. He's like, that's what I'm gonna do to you, and I'm telling you right now, you're gonna be a diamond.
Oh shit.
So
how many months into like working at Audi did you become the sales manager?
No, so when I started at Mazda, I was a salesperson. And then 8 months later, he made me an assistant manager. Okay. So that's what they do in the automotive industry. When you're showing potential as a salesperson, they'll give you an assistant manager role, and they will put you through hell. They'll give you all the tasks of a real sales manager with the pay of less than a salesperson. Right? Because they're not gonna just give you an opportunity, right? They want to see what you're made of. So when I say he tested me, like, put me through anything and everything you can.
What were some of the tests he gave you?
I mean, just working the long hours, right? And having all the responsibilities, learning the new things, and just seeing how much pressure I could possibly take without saying like, I raised the white flag. I'm sorry, I can't do this. Right? He wanted to see if he could break me, and he tried his best. And it was effective. It really was, because it forced me to grow. I'm like, I'm not going to break. I'm going to keep going. There was certain times I never thought of quitting. I never thought of breaking. But there's certain times I'm like, this is tough. My mental health wasn't the greatest at that time either. I was eating out all the time. I was staying up late. My sleep wasn't good. So I wasn't really taking care of myself. I started to get a little chubbier, things like that. Because there was so much pressure and so much stress, right? But never did I think I was going to quit. So eventually you break the plateau, and then he just backed off.
So at what point, like, when you started to kind of fall off, at what point did you were you like, yo, I got to get my shit together?
So things happened for a reason. I got lucky. I wouldn't say lucky, but things happened at the right time. So right at the point where I was like, this is getting very, very tough, COVID hit. COVID hit at that time.
Blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise. And at that time, unfortunately, everybody got laid off at the dealership, except for me, the assistant used car manager at the time, and one sales guy, Tony. It was the three of us, and we all went back to sales. We were all salespeople at that time. They didn't need managers. Like, what are you going to manage? There's 3 people at the dealership. You're going to manage yourself and send a report to yourself, like, hey, your numbers are not great. Like, no. You know what I mean? So it was just the 3 of us, and at that time was when we were selling cars online, and innovating and just, navigating that time of the pandemic. So that eased a little bit of pressure off of me, because at that time everybody was just trying to make sure like they can survive, right? Like, it was a pandemic. We didn't know what was happening. Didn't know the severity of it. So that eased the pressure a little bit. And then eventually, like, I think 1 or 2 months later, we started to bring the team back. That's when, like, I had already learned enough, and I had taken the pressure off me a little bit, where I was like, I'm ready to rock and roll.
It just gave you that little bit of room to breathe, right?
Gave me that, exactly. That was the key word you said. Give me a little bit of room to breathe, where I was able to just collect myself again, get back to my normal routine of hitting the gym, eating right, getting myself in a proper mental state. Again, that's super key, keeping in a proper mental state. And then when the team came back, I was ready. I had learned enough, and I had gotten that time to refresh and reset myself, and then I hit the ground running.
Nice.
And then I was assistant sales manager for a month and a half after that. And then June of that year, I got promoted to full-time sales manager, and stayed there for a year.
Wait, so is this at Mazda or is this?
It's a Mazda.
This is
That's a Mazda. Yeah.
Okay.
Audi was like recently. Audi's like this year, right?
Then I worked at Mazda for a whole year as a full-time sales manager.
Okay.
Learned the ropes there, and then we started to break the records and perform at a certain level. And then a year after that, it was May of 2021 at Audi Queensway. The sales manager that was there at that time, he got promoted to become the general manager at our store, BMW Newmarket.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So Dilawri is big on this as well, promoting within. They really believe in that.
That's really good, bro.
Yeah. They build that culture into the automotive group.
You'll get people staying for a long time if you can actually honor that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people see that, right? They live off of that. That's the hope for them.
Mm-hmm.
So he got promoted to become the general manager of BMW Newmarket, and a memo came out internally saying, like, there's a sales manager position open at Audi Queensway, and anybody that works in Dilawri knows Audi Queensway is the dealership to work at.
Why is it?
I mean, first of all, it's luxury.
Yeah.
And it's the largest volume dealership that we have in Dilawri, Ontario, right? Like, they do a decent amount of volume. It's one of the oldest Audi dealerships in Canada.
No way.
Okay. So they've got a huge portfolio. It's a great location. Like, we're next to Sherway Gardens. If you know that location, it's perfect pocket. Etobicoke, downtown's right there. Mississauga, Oakville. Like,
I used to work at Queensway too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Audi Queensway.
Yeah, but I was with a car. I had hundreds of jobs, bro. I work for a car rental company. You know Infinity Luxury Car Rentals.
Yeah.
I work with them, so I would come by, drop you guys cars and shit.
No way. Yeah, we've got a large service business over there as well. So rental cars all the time. But there was that opening, and all my team members were like, you should go. Like, you know what I mean? You're doing so well over here. Go for that one. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really wanted to do it, but I was like, I don't know if I'm like still too young in the industry or too fresh. Like, do I have enough experience? Can I handle that type of store? Like, it's a big volume dealership. It's luxury. It's a next level, right? Standards are much higher. And I'd only been in the industry at this time for about like a year and a half. Not even that much to show. Like, and during that time, I was getting ready to get married as well. This was May.
Oh, it's a hectic year.
Oh man, it was May of 2021, and in September of that year, I was set to get married. So you can imagine wedding planning as well. For anyone that's gotten married before, what kind of stress you're dealing with at that time.
Definitely to God for that year, right?
Yeah. So I had a conversation with my wife, and I'm like, look, this opportunity presented itself, and I want to go for it. Like, what do you think? And she was like, I don't know if you should do it. Like,
really, eh?
This is a lot on our plate right now. Like, this is going to be a lot of change. It's going to be, like, maybe too much to handle right now, right? You're doing great at Mazda. It's right next to the house. I used to live 5 minutes from Agincourt Mazda. And driving to Queensway is 35 minutes with the 407. If it's 401, forget about it. Like, an hour.
So I'm going to work that.
She's like, I don't know if you should go for it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if an opportunity like this will present itself ever again, and I don't want to live with regrets. I'm gonna go for it.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I approached my GM. Remember, I shut the office door, walk into his office, and I'm like, Paul, I love you. You've done a lot for me. You give me opportunities. You've helped me succeed, but I think it's time for me to move on. I want to go to Queensway. And he was like, shit. He's mad for a couple of seconds. He's like, you know what? I think you're ready to. I think you should go for it. It's a great opportunity. I don't want to hold you back here. So he made a call to the GM, my GM now, Chris, and then he said what he had to say. But I was like, I don't want to go this route. I was like, I want to do the interview. And I don't know if I would have gotten the job just off of Paul's recommendation, but I didn't want a job like that.
Oh,
right?
Wow, okay.
So they were just going to transfer you over?
No. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if that was even on the table.
Yeah, you still want to.
I did not want to accept that. I don't want to be like, make a phone call for me and tap me in. No. I want to interview, and I want to show him that I really want this opportunity.
You want to make sure you know that you deserved it, right?
Yeah, I want to show the new GM there, like, I'm hungry. Like, I really want this opportunity. I know I'm young, but like, my resume doesn't tell the tale of who I am. Like, you need to speak. I want to speak to you. I want to show you. I want to come and talk to you in person so you can understand the individual that is behind this piece of paper. Because you look at this paper, you're gonna see 2 years, whatever. And
bro, you're younger than me. You're younger than us. That's crazy. But you hold yourself up like.
At that time, I was like, I think 25 years old. 24.
That's crazy.
24 years old at that time.
Running Audi Queensway, like the biggest one.
It was one of the bigger ones.
One of the biggest ones. Yeah.
So I was like, I need to meet him in person, and I need to show him, like, what I'm made of. So he first called me. I did a phone interview with him for 30 minutes. He's a great guy, by the way. Like, one of the best GMs in the game. Awesome. He started as a salesperson there as well. Wow. So he worked his way up, sales manager, then GSM, and now he's a GM there. And he's pretty young too.
He can appreciate the young hunger.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but I was like, I need to meet him in person. So he invited me in, And the night before he invited me in, I stayed up till like 3 a.m. writing him a full letter of like why I deserve this job. Like
you wrote him like a letter?
I wrote him a letter. I typed out a letter. I typed out a full letter to show him like, this is why. Here's my stats. This is what I've done in my 1 to 2 years at Mazda. Here's what I've accomplished. Here's what I'm doing right now. And this is what value I bring to your team. Right? I wanted to show him like, I'm not taking this opportunity as a joke. Like, this is a big opportunity. It's a big deal for me. And I think I deserve this. There's no better guy than me for this right now. I'm confident in that. So I sent him the letter, and I walk into the interview the next morning at 9 a.m. He's got the letter on his desk. I'm like, did you get a chance to read it? He's like, yeah. And then he interviewed me for like an hour and a half. And great interview. Asked me a lot of tough questions.
Hired on the spot?
No, not hired on the spot.
Okay,
no, you should have let me tell the story.
Sorry, bro. I'm getting excited, you know?
But he put me through like an hour and a half interview. Even the sales managers who are my colleagues now. I have one partner who's the other new car sales manager. And then there's a used car manager as well. So they interviewed me as well. And then I thought I nailed it. I'm like, I got this job, like I'm expecting for me to go back to Chris's office after speaking to the two other guys. And he's like, yep, you're hired. Come work like in 2 weeks or whatever. That didn't happen. He left me off with a cliffhanger that killed me. He was like, yeah, thanks. Nice meeting you. Just keep working hard at Mazda. Keep doing your thing, Great job.
Yo, he did that on purpose.
I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, what? I thought I nailed this interview.
Broke his heart, bro.
I'm like, did you really tell me to go back and keep working hard? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But that time, like, you know what? Whatever happens, it happens. I did my best. I showed him that I deserve it. And now if it's not the time, it's not the time. I'm still doing great at Mazda. Yeah. Still got a good thing going for me. I'm getting married. Like, life's good, Yeah. Keep moving on. For the next 3-4 days, I was like living on. I couldn't sleep. At work, I'm distracted. I'm looking at their numbers every single day. I'm like, what's going on there? Eventually, 4 days later, he gives me a call and he's like, I'm so sorry I couldn't connect with you earlier, but you're hired.
Okay.
I was like, yes. It was Eid that day too.
No way.
I fasted for an entire month.
Crazy.
And then heard that on Eid. So
was that one of your things that you were
praying for?
Praying for during your fast?
Of course. Well, I mean, not during the fast because I actually halfway through Ramadan, I realized that I'd be interviewing for the position. So I was definitely praying for it. But he told me on Eid, and it was best news.
That's like a magical.
Yeah. That's
huge
awesome,
blessing,
bro.
Yeah. So I started there in June of 2021.
Okay.
So now it's been just over a year that I've been at Queensway.
Ah, okay.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And it's been a wild ride already.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. It's a fantastic dealership. Like Audi as a brand is very progressive first and foremost. The dealership itself, it's beautiful. Like 2 floors, like it's massive. So
we gotta come by and check it out.
Yeah, come by and check. we got a putting green upstairs as well. So come check out your skills over there.
Queensway was
right next to Sherwood Gardens.
That is the one that I worked at.
Yeah. Right next to Sherwood Gardens. So it's a beautiful dealership. Like you feel really good coming to work every single day. You feel proud to work for a brand that is doing so well and innovating and progressive. They're doing really big things. Like if you guys haven't heard of it, the Q4 E-Tron is going to be groundbreaking.
Really, eh?
That's the new EV that's coming out. We've been waiting a long time for the people watching this that have been waiting for that car to come out. It's finally coming out. I've got my test drive unit on the way to the dealership.
No way.
It should be arriving next week, hopefully. But we've been waiting for that car for quite a while. That's going to be the new thing for Audi.
What about the Q4? What it is that stands out?
So what Audi is saying is, and I really believe this, it's putting luxury electric driving within reach. I'm not getting that right. I'm not getting that statement right, but that's what it's doing. So the good thing about the Q4 is it's a perfect size, right? If you look at the market these days, like and what consumers are purchasing, they're purchasing SUVs and compact SUVs, right? Like the Q5 size, Q3 size. This is right between that in terms of size.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the Q4.
It's almost like a Honda HR-V, it's
a little bit bigger
crossover.
Than that.
Yeah,
a little bigger than that. It's actually, I was doing a product knowledge quiz on this today, and I learned myself today that it has the same interior cargo space as one of our D segment vehicles. A D segment vehicle is one of our larger vehicles, like the Q8 would be, like an A8 would be, some of the bigger vehicles. So it's got the same interior cargo space as one of those vehicles, and it's perfect size, like I said, right between the Q3 and the Q5, and it's electric, and you wouldn't believe the starting price.
What is it?
$59,950.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
For such an innovative vehicle.
The interior is beautiful. Like nothing like you've seen it before. It's got augmented heads-up reality display as well. So this thing is going to be like groundbreaking for sure.
Are there? What would be the competitors for that car right now?
The competitors would be
Tesla, obviously, right?
I mean,
I don't think they
like the Model Y.
The Model Y.
The Model Y.
Yeah, you could say Model Y.
Size-wise.
For Volkswagen, it would be the ID4.
Yeah.
Obviously, Volkswagen Group owns Audi as well, right? So similar.
Stuff,
I don't think BMW really has a direct competitor at that price point. They have
a monthly subscription heated seats now. You know?
Yeah, they got that.
Are you guys gonna do that soon?
No, I don't think they're gonna.
Please don't.
We actually, no, they're not gonna do that.
Subscription for the heated seats.
So yeah, for the Beamers, the newer ones, if you want to get monthly, if you want to get heated seats, you got to pay a monthly fee now. Well, not now, but I think like it's
eventually,
coming.
Eventually. So they might go. Like Audi might do the subscription base as well, but not for something like heated seats, right?
That's kind of
and what the reason why that's controversial? Because if you think about it, customers are saying, so you're making me pay for this feature and then making me pay for it again. And what I mean by that is the car's already retrofitted to be able
the hardware
to have it there, right?
You're shutting it off.
You're shutting it off, and then you're making me pay to turn it on.
Yeah.
What is that? I've already paid for the parts. I've already paid for the vehicle to be able to do that. And now you want to charge me to just turn it on? So that's going to be controversial. I don't know if they're going to get away with it or not. So
it could be bad for them too, right?
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, the Q4 is definitely
direct competitors too.
Nice. Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta kind of put them down.
All the BMW guys watching it.
Yeah.
That's one thing as well in sales. Never slash your competitors. Like never put them down. Because what it does in the client's eyes, it
makes you look weak.
Right? And it doesn't make you sound credible. Right? If you're able to give them the pros and cons of your product and their product, now all of a sudden you gain their trust.
Exactly.
Now you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he's not selling me on anything. He's again consulting me.
Obviously, there's gonna be a bias, but it's not like a full bias. You know, like you're gonna focus. Like you show them the pros and cons. I think that's like the smartest way to do it. You're like, oh, you're fuck BMW, right? Like
consult them.
Exactly.
And look after their needs. People can tell when you really want to look after what their needs are. Because again, you're gonna listen to them. You're gonna get them to open up, and then if you've listened properly, you'll use whatever information they gave you to tie them to your product. And that's when
how they know you're listening to. Right?
Exactly. That's when you become potent, really potent. One thing in this book that I'm reading right now, it's a concept called tie down phrases. So information that someone's given you during the course of the transaction or conversation, you use whatever information they've given you, tie it to your product, and say like phrases like "isn't it?" Like if you said like, safety is important to me, and they've driven the vehicle, they've seen the safety feature in the car, and then you say like the vehicle seems very safe, doesn't it? Or like, wouldn't you agree that this vehicle is equipped with all the safety equipment that you're looking for? And they agree to the yes. You start to stack up those small yeses during the course of the sale. Now they're already agreeing to the sale.
I gotta read this book, bro.
You gotta read this book, man.
Jeez.
So eventually, if you get enough small yeses, at the end when you go for the close, it's pretty tough to say
automatic.
no.
It's automatic.
Because they'll think back about how they feel about the whole situation.
Right? You've already put them into the positive, like yes. Now at the ending, they say no. It's like, well,
it's like a preconditioned yes, because like I cold called to get my business.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. So we would say specific things to get the client to say yes.
Yeah.
And then after I'll ask a more serious question.
Oh, okay.
Right? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, all right, fucking sick. All right, see you tomorrow.
There you go. Done. But the book is a gem.
So what would you say is the biggest difference in selling at Mazda and now selling at Audi?
I would say the biggest thing is the standard that we're held to, right? The clientele is completely different, right? The people that you're dealing with, these are people that are very busy. They're professionals. They're very accomplished in their life. They're high-level executive. They don't have time to deal with people that are not at that same level professionally, right? Like, you need to be able to explain to them everything in detail. You need to be fully transparent, and you need to know what you're talking about. You got to come off as a professional, right? Professionals only like dealing with professionals, right? And I'll say this myself. Like, me as a professional myself, like, I try to hold myself to a certain standard. And if I'm doing business with anybody, no matter what I'm purchasing, I'm only buying from the best guys. Of course. I want to approach the guys that know the most in that industry, or the industry leaders, because that's who I want to do business with. That's who I feel comfortable doing business with, right? And I feel like the Audi clientele is of the same mindset. So when I was looking to purchase an investment property, I had never met Saad Muhammad. Like, he's on social media. I followed him. I followed Saad on social media. I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, he does.
He's on the grind. Yeah. He's providing value to his clients, to his followers. And when he posted a product, I reached out to him. I'd never met this guy in my life before. But because he came across as a professional, he held himself to a certain standard as you, right? He got my business. At the end of the day, right?
I'll let him know after the podcast is over. I'll be like, yo, this guy said this.
No, he's a great guy.
He's amazing.
He's taking care of me. Anytime that I've texted him, like he's gotten back to me. Like people got to remember that too, right? It's not just about the one-time transaction. That's another mentality that you need to have.
Yo, you look long-term business, bro.
Long-term business, man. Because at the end of the day, business, there's no better thing as referrals, right? Your referrals is your biggest marketing, right? Your customers will speak for you, and that's free. You don't have to pay any advertising dollars for that.
And usually the clients you get from referrals, they're already preconditioned and they already kind of know how you work. So like they're expecting the same performance out of you.
They're the best clients. They're the best clients.
You're just like, you tell them something like, okay.
Do you know why they're the best clients though?
Yeah, they trust you.
They trust you.
Yeah.
There we go. They already trust you, right? You've already done business with somebody that they trust and they believe. So you don't have to break the wall down. Right? They're already coming in comfortable. They know that you know what you're doing. All you got to do is like just help them out with their needs.
Service them,
right? And you're gonna get a deal out of it.
Exactly.
So if you don't take care of your people, and if I show you my phone right now, I've got every single client that has purchased a car from me saved with their first name and what car they purchased. Because when they call me, I'm not gonna pick up the phone and say, who is this? I'm gonna be like, hey Bob, how are you? How's your CX-5 doing? And they're gonna be like, damn,
bro, that goes a long. Warren Buffett does that. Like
this
Warren
guy
Buffett
remembers me.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years, and you remembered me, and you picked up my call. There's a guy that I sold a car to when I was first a new salesperson, and he reached out to me the other day asking me for advice on which career he should choose. Like random. Like he was trying to get into sales, so he was like, I'm picking between sales and like logistics, something like that. He reached out to me, right? And I didn't ignore his call. I picked up the call, took time out of my day to talk to him, like, give him genuine advice on it, give him the pros and cons of sales and whatnot. So like that's the level of service and like trust you should have and relationship you should have.
Was that impact that you left on him from the sale?
Right. So one thing I told him when I spoke to him about the sales, I was like, you got to take care of your people. I was like, why are you calling me after 3 years of buying a Mazda from me? Like, because I took care of you at that time. And I answered your text. I don't care that you're not buying a car from me today. I'm not looking at it as a waste of my time, right? I'm building a relationship with you, and people feel that, right? So if you're a salesperson watching this, pick up every single call that your client does for you, right? If someone reaches out to you, take that call, go out of your way. It's going to return tenfold, right?
And phone calls over text message any day. Hear tonality. Exactly. You should build better rapport with the phone calls,
Oh man, now you start opening up a whole new can of worms.
Go for it. Let's go at it.
Oh man, like again with sales, one of the biggest things is psychology. Right? And what is that? Right, learning about tonality, learning about body language,
neural linguistic programming, NLP.
Right, like communication is a lot more than just words. You can read people, and that's how you become really good. I've learned a lot from Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. You guys probably watch his stuff too. But the body language stuff, like I've learned from him. Big time.
You should check out Brian Casello on YouTube. He's a realtor, but he teaches like neural linguistic programming.
Got it.
And all that. Like when it really breaks it down, so you can apply it to like any business, bro. It's crazy stuff.
And like if you want to be an engaging communicator, you need to be able to use tonality properly, right? You need to be able to switch it up. You don't want to bore people like, how are you doing? Like, no, you don't want that.
Exactly.
You got to keep them excited.
It's part of the experience.
It's part of the experience, right? The body language as well. Like people feed off that energy, right? Body language. Especially like when I go in and speak to a client sometimes to close the deal, I'll go see how their body language is, right? And then there's a concept called matching and mirroring.
Oh yeah, okay.
You want to match their energy, right? So you're gonna go and you're gonna see how they're sitting. Like now, if I come in and close Vino and he's sitting like that, I'm not gonna just walk to the desk and go like this. But I'm gonna walk in, have a conversation with him, and slowly, like you'll start to see me ease into it. And I'll be looking at him like this, and I'm, matching his vibe. And now he's like, this guy's on the same page.
I trust this guy. I don't know what it is.
Something about it. He's kind of like me.
You guys are holding like this, right?
Whatever it is, right? But like that part to me is crazy too. When I started to unlock that side of sales,
it's like a superpower.
I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I started to see, especially in meetings, I remember I used to run meetings with my sales team. I was a new sales manager. I'm looking around, everyone's disengaged. Sometimes they're picking up their phone. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I started to play with my tonality. started to play with like, you know, words and stuff like that. And I started to see like all of a sudden like they put their phone away and look, and I'm like, whoa, that was powerful.
Yeah.
And knowing when you're doing that too in your head, and then you see people's reactions, is just insane.
And bro, you don't leave that at the office. That comes with you everywhere you go. Like you just naturally become this person.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And that helps you in every aspect of life. Right. Like one conversation that is probably going to come up in this interview, like, or it probably already came up, is like, you know, why sales? Right.
Yeah. Why sales?
Look, at the end of the day, like when you're growing up, or even people today when they're grown up, they look at sales and like they'll have this like typical image in their head of like someone that's sleazy or untrustworthy. Oh, sales, oh, that's not that hard, whatever the case may be. But what people fail to understand is everything in life is sales. Boils down back to sales. Whether you're selling yourself in an interview, or you're selling yourself to a girl at the club, or you're selling products to people online, whatever the case may be.
Selling your vision to your wife.
Selling your vision to your wife.
Your whole family.
Selling your vision to your company.
Yeah.
If you're a leader of a business or a company, right? Like selling that vision or selling why they should be doing certain things for you or anything like that. It's all sales at the end of the day. Even to your kids. If you've got kids and you're trying to tell them what to do, like, you know, teach them do this versus that, it's sales. Like you need to be able to communicate effectively, right? So there's a certain way you do it. And if you learn how to do that, you will unlock like great things in life.
Bro, things will just start happening for you automatically, you know? Like
it's crazy. So like I feel like in sales you can learn so much. And it's in sales, it's a big spectrum versus in the way that people are proficient in it, right? Like when you get into any sales environment, it doesn't have to be auto sales, it could be real estate, but you'll see a big spectrum of people. Like you'll see people that really have no idea what they're doing, know nothing about sales, and you see people that are like masters at it and really, really good at it. And what you understand with those people is that they understand it's a craft, right? It's not just like you wake up one day and like, oh, that guy was born with it. No, he wasn't. He worked at it. He learned things. He perfected it. Right. He really, really honed his craft. He practiced repetition. Right. And now he's really good. And now he's carrying that into the rest of his life as well.
Now it's not forced. Now it's just that's just who he is. You know, like just that, like that's just a byproduct.
What you got to understand is that makes life so much more exciting. You know what I mean? Like just talk about like a conversation, right? If I was like a random like tech guy or IT or someone, and I was giving this interview right now and I'm just having a monotone, you know, voice and just like what, that's boring. So boring. Like nobody wants to listen to that. Right? So just being able to be a good conversationalist and be captivating, gotta be captivating and like bring people in, like that's a skill in its own. It is at the end of the day. Right? So you can learn so much, man. Like, I think sales, like you learn so much. And right now, like the things that I've learned over the last couple of years, it's gonna pay a lot in the long run.
No, right? Trust me, I see it already.
Like the leadership and like, you know, managing people. We were talking about this off camera as well, but I think one of the hardest parts about my job is managing people's personalities. Right. Not so much about the numbers.
Do you know the different types of personalities? Like the I forgot the driver. The yes.
You want to go over that? And I can't, not off the top of my head, I'm forgetting right now, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Tim Grover actually spoke about this.
No way. Okay.
In that interview that I told you guys about earlier.
Okay.
But I think that Michael Jordan, he said, was the cleaner. I believe so. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember 100% off the top of my head, but I do remember this concept.
I think there's 4 or 5.
It's 4 or 5 of them. I don't know off the top of my head right now. But managing personalities, it comes down to that as well, right? Learning like how to speak to certain people. You can't relay the same message to different people the same way.
Can you share some techniques of how you would approach a specific type of people?
So, I mean, something that's worked for me really well in my career is just getting to know the person more. And what I do is I have a one-on-one meeting with my sales reps after every single month. Like we have a one-on-one conversation about how the month went. And then I set them up for the next month, right? Their targets for the next month, you know, how areas of improvement and game plan and this and that. And the most important thing, and this is key right now if you're a salesperson or a sales leader, I should say, and salesperson as well. But the main thing at the ending of the conversation is I ask them their motivation. Because at the end of the day, we're humans. They're humans. And as a sales leader, need to understand that. I need to be able to tap into that. There's one guy in my workplace where he's struggled a lot. He's come from India. He's been on a work permit. He's worked at hotels. He's cleaned washrooms.
Is the Punjabi guy that
Rohan,
you
shout out to Rohan. He's doing really well.
Number 1 right now, right?
He was a top salesperson for 2 months in a row, right? He's only a year in the industry as well, and he's learned a lot. You know, I'm working with him very, very closely. I really believe in the guy, you know? So I'm investing in him as well right now, and I know
the
that
same
he's
way.
Exactly. I got to pay it back, right?
Exactly.
Got to pay it
back.
Pay it forward. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
So
the energy doesn't die; it has to transfer.
It has to. It has to.
Keeps on going.
Keep on going. Keep it going. So shout out to him. But he's worked really, really hard, and something that he wants to do is he wants to provide a better life for his family back in India. There's certain things that his parents have sacrificed for him to be in the position that he's in today, and he feels like he owes it to them to get them that better life, right? So whenever he's having a bad day, I'll be like, remember your motivation.
Your why,
right?
Yeah.
Your parents are back home right now. I know you want to bring them here. I know you want to give them that vacation. I know you want to buy them that Apple Watch. So you gotta hustle right now. You gotta grind. You don't have time to rest right now, right? So if you have a why that's bigger than yourself, then you can stay motivated, right? So at the end of that conversation, like I said, with my sales guys, I'll talk about their motivation. Now some guys will hit me with I just like money, but I try to get deeper than that, and I try to show them it's not that, man. It's not about the money, okay?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this, but you got to excuse me a little bit. I recently listened to this talk, and I'm not remembering everything off the top of my head. But again, this is something that everybody should watch. Ramit Sethi, that guy we spoke about, the financial guy, he gave a talk to Google employees very recently, and I was listening to this talk while I was working out. That's why I wasn't able to retain as much of it, but it was a really good talk. Very interesting, the topic that he brought up. The topic was on how to live a rich life, how to live a wealthy life, right? Okay. So basically the concept that he was talking about was anybody that's talking about how to live a rich life, a mentor, when they talk about these things, they talk about like how much money you should be saving, how much money you should have in your bank account, your bank balance, your investments, your net worth, things of that nature, where you can cut costs. And he's like, that's not how I want you looking at it. The way he spinned it was, it was different. It was very unique, and that's why I got so intrigued by it. He was like, he asked the audience, he asked the people that are working at Google, he was like, what are things that you guys spend money on in your life that you don't care how much money you spent on it because it brings you happiness? And one girl was like, a nanny for my kids, right? And he was like, why? And he's like, because it buys me the peace of mind. When I'm at work, I'm working 12, 13 hours, 15 hours. I'm at Google. She's probably a top level executive or something. And it stresses me out that the kids are at home alone. No one's there for them to take care of them. The nanny buys me that peace of mind, knowing that somebody that cares for them is there to take care of them. If something is happening to them, they have somebody to rely on, right? Another person was like traveling. Like, I like to travel, I like to experience the world. Another person was like, I like to read books. And he was like, when you think about money, think about it in a way where you can acquire a certain amount of money to get you the things in life that truly make you happy, and you can spoil yourself on them. You're
like living at like full expression at that point, you can be yourself to the maximum. The most, right?
Yeah. And I didn't explain that the way I would have liked to explain it, but hopefully people understand the concept behind that. Right. So like me and my wife were at Wasaga Beach just the other day on Wednesday, and we were on a jet ski, we were living life. It was a great time.
Nice.
And we were having this conversation, and she asked me, she's like, what is it for you? And I was like,
doing this shit, right?
That's what it was. I was like, the experiences that I can have with my family, because that's what I'll take with me forever. I don't care how much money I spend on those things, because that's what's truly important to me, right? So like whether that's spoiling her on a vacation, or taking my mom out to eat to a restaurant that she never could have afforded growing up, or buying her something that she's wanting for a long time.
That's the best part, bro.
That's the best feeling. So when I'm grinding it out, when it's like a tough day, when I don't want to work, all I got to do is remind myself this is what I'm working hard for, to be able to afford these luxuries in my life. That's the life that I want. And at that time, like, doesn't matter what happens to you. Doesn't matter how negative things are, no matter how tough it gets, you can break through that, because your why is that strong. Right? So like anybody watching this that's in an industry that's performance driven, use that type of mindset, and that's what's going to help you like really be able to perform at a certain level consistently every single day, keep you motivated, keep you driven, and to keep going forward.
Tell me a little bit about your future goals and future plans and where you want to take your career.
That's a tough question, man. That's a really, really tough question. I knew this question would come up in the interview, and I really, really don't know how to answer it. I'm not going to lie and say that I've got the future planned out. I really don't exactly know. Right now, I'm just looking to make every single day the best that it can be and just get better, right? Now, I do know I want to continue to progress in sales and leadership. Now, that is, my ambition. That's what I'm passionate about. Of course, you can probably tell by now. But whether that's staying in the automotive industry and going to a high-level position, I really believe in myself, got confidence in myself. I know that if I put in the work right now, I can get to a position that's like vice president of the company
I
or things like that.
Sure,
or if I venture off into another, sales path, I don't know whether that's real estate or tech sales or something like that. Right now,
real estate.
Huh?
Dude, get into real estate. I think you do really well.
So like that there's a lot of avenues that are open.
Yeah.
There's been so much that's happened in the last 3 years. I've progressed really fast. Like, thank God, like alhamdulillah. Progressed really fast where like right now I have to really start to think about what I want to do in the future. But the last couple of years I've just been really working on myself, starting to get learning to get better, improvement. So right now that's my mentality. I do need to figure out like what I want.
Still figuring it out, right?
Yeah. And it's tough. Like again, for people watching this, it's a tough decision, man. It's a big decision you have to make for what you want to do for the rest of your life. So right now I really believe that you got to be ready for an opportunity, right? Because if an opportunity comes and presents itself, if you're ready, you'll be able to make the best of it, right? So right now I'm just making myself prepared for whatever's to come, because I know that if I put in the work, I put the right energy out there, opportunities will present itself, right? So at the moment I'm focusing on just working on myself, working on the craft, continuing to improve, not getting complacent, right? And then looking forward as well. So I don't know how to answer that one right now, be completely honest, but whether that's a leadership role in the automotive industry or venturing off into another sales path or even opening up my own business, that is a goal of mine too one day. I don't know what business I would run. That again, is still figuring that part out. But again, that's an ambition of mine as well. So just a lot of things are open right now. Right now, I just want to make sure that I am ready. I'm working on myself, getting better every single day. That's the mentality. If I didn't learn something new today, if I didn't take one step forward, I'm not happy. I can't go to sleep at night and look myself in the mirror and be like, I had a good day. No. I got to wake up in the morning and be like, this is the goals that I'm working towards. What step am I taking? And it could be a very minute step. It could be a tiny little baby step forward. But as long as I'm moving forward, then I feel content, And I feel like that's what life is about, right? Progression. At the end of the day, if you want to be happy, as long as you're progressing, you will be happy.
That's a natural state to be. If you look at like anything, like even like a tree and stuff, it doesn't stop growing. It's just always growing.
Exactly.
So once you stop growing, like you literally start dying.
That's what it is. That's what it is. People don't understand that. You stop growing, you're gonna feel like you're dying. That's when people get depressed. That's when their mental health starts to decline. So if you want to stay positive, you want to stay happy, continue to move forward.
It's natural to move forward,
Exactly. It's built in us. We want to do that.
For everything in life, like you said, right? That's a perfect thing that you just said. Like trees or plants or animals, like everything is growing until they stop growing and then they start dying.
Exactly.
You don't want to do that.
Exactly.
You don't want to do that.
There's a time for that, but it's not anytime soon, right?
Exactly.
Wait, no, even going back to like what you're saying earlier, like I think like everything you're doing right now, like it's not going to be like a waste of time or anything. It's like not only are you making money, but you're learning like once again like those systems, those processes, like how these bigger corporations are being run. So you're getting all this intel. You're learning, like your communication skills are going to continually get better and better and better, right? Like as you're dealing with every other high level executive that comes in to buy an Audi, right? So
it was crazy. I remember like a few months ago, I tell my sales guys all the time, if you're a sales leader, if you're a leader, you need to be there for your people. I tell my people all the time, like I want to empower you guys. I want you guys to close your own deals. I want to see you guys improve. But anytime you feel like you're stuck, you've got me. I'm always going to come and I'm going to help you close that deal, right? And they appreciate that. So Rohan actually, he was trying to close the customer, and the customer was giving a little bit of a hard time. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get on a conference call and then let's see what we can do. So I'm on the phone with the client. It's 10 minutes into the conversation. Rohan's sitting across from me, and while I'm talking to the guy, he's on speakerphone. Rohan he's trying to show me something on his phone. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? I'm on the phone with the guy. I'm trying to listen to him, understand what his pain points are, and get the deal closed here. And he's like, no, look. He shows me the phone. It's a LinkedIn profile. I'm on the phone with the president of Microsoft Canada.
Oh shit!
I had no idea. No idea. Super interesting guy. Very, very humble guy.
Jeez. No wonder he's giving a little bit of a hard time there.
Right?
He's like, I don't know if I should go BMW or Audi, right?
At that point, I'm like, I realized who I'm talking to. I wasn't even talking about the car anymore. I was just trying to pick his brain. I'm like, let me let me listen to what this guy has to say, right? Like understand how he speaks to people.
And they appreciate that too, bro.
Yeah. So. No, it's crazy, right? But like you said, right now I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, take in as much as I can. The good thing about sales and businesses, there's so many takeaways, right? There's so many things that you can apply to different areas of life. Dealing with people right now, I feel like is the biggest skill that I'm acquiring, like leadership skills, because once you have that, you can really make an impact on a company.
The richest man in the world. That's what that's rule number one. Dale Carnegie. The richest man ever. Like, bro, he knew when he walked into those factories, bro, he knew every single person by name.
Oh,
yeah,
it's crazy, man. So I try to really like, use these concepts and apply them on my life as well. So I remember when I was joining Audi, my wife will laugh because she remembers this as well. I went on their website and I memorized everybody's name by looking at their picture.
Smart.
So I walk in the first day and I'm like, "Hey, Alistair, how you doing? Hey, Rob, how you doing?"
Like, how the hell you know my name?
I'm like, yeah, how do you know my name?
Yeah.
So
do you guys wear name tags or no?
No, we don't need name tags. So I'm remembering the
sure.
picture, and the pictures are old too. Keep that in mind. Like some of these pictures have not been updated for years. They look a little bit different too, right? But that went a long way as well, right? They were like, okay, this guy took the time to learn who we are.
All these extra things.
Yeah. So do those extra little things, and that goes a long way.
It does. It really does. Sure. I know off camera we were talking about you having to manage people that are older than you, right? You're obviously 27 now.
I just turned 27 like 10 days ago.
Happy belated birthday, my friend.
Oh yeah,
appreciate it.
Happy belated birthday.
You're managing people that have been in these positions well before you, and you're managing people that are older than you. So being a young guy going into the industry, what are some challenges that you face and how have you overcome them? And what sort of advice would you give to somebody who's young and wants to make actual moves in whatever industry they're working in?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, one of the questions you asked me, it's already answered in the question. The challenge itself is to lead people that have more experience than you, that are older than you, that are wiser than you, right? That's a challenge, man. Yeah. Because they will look at you like, I know more than you. I've been in this longer than you. Yeah. Like you're like third of my age. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to teach me? How are you going to lead me, right? So the biggest advice that I have in that circumstance and how to become successful in that situation is show them the respect.
Yes.
Give them the respect. Appreciate them.
Yeah.
And tell them, like, look, I understand you know more than me. Or, in certain situations, certain areas, you know more than me, right? You have a certain set of skills, a certain expertise. You performed at a certain level for such amount of time. That's why you're here today, right? You clearly know what you're doing. So respect that. Don't go in like, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that, do this. Don't do that. That's going to set you up for failure big time, right? Show them the respect first. Show them the appreciation first. And then when you gain that trust, when you gain that ability to speak to them on a personal level, you're like, look, I'm just trying to help out. And here's the areas where I feel like, you're doing great in, but I think we can improve as well. Right. And then give them that feedback. And once you have that connection with them and they know that you respect them as well, they'll be open to that feedback. Right. So I think that's the 100% key.
We were talking about this earlier. I think one thing you do good is that you don't let the power get to you, that ego, right?
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to effectively lead people if you're using your power to impress upon them.
Or power tripping, right?
Power tripping. Like, I was just reading this quote the other day, and excuse me if I get it wrong, but it was like, management is persuading people to do certain things for you, and leadership is showing people that they can do things that they never thought that they could do. So that's a leader. They looked inside them and they never thought they could be that person, or they have that potential.
You brought it
but you brought it out in them. You showed that light in them. That's a leader. Right? A manager's like, do this, do that. Like, this is why you think you should do that. No. You got to be able to look at the potential in somebody, and even if when they don't see it, you believe in them, and then get them to see what they can become.
Because, bro, like, a lot of people don't have that. Like, you even said, even your own family, like, they were like, yo, you can go to Uber or whatever, right? Like, I think most families are like that, because, like, people are always going to see you, even your friends or like your family, they're always going to see you as your old self. They're not going to see that new vision you have for yourself, right? So that's why, like, yeah, bro, like, I think it's good to have that external source, especially if that's from like your workplace. If the leader or the boss can, like, they see that in you, like, you want to incentivize the people to come into work, and you want to make that like a good environment too, right? So
you want to give them hope, right? You want to give them hope for a better future, a better life. So again, one of the things that I focus on with my team is not just like how they can sell more cars or make more money. How can they live a better life? Right?
Because that in turn will make them sell more cars.
Exactly. I want them to think about the bigger picture. So I'm always asking about their family. How's your mom doing? How's things at home? How are you doing? Because I know that all that stuff, again, ties in together. Right? Exactly. These are humans. If you want to be a good leader, you need to understand these are humans at the end of the day. Right? These are not machines. These are not robots. You don't just program them and say, go do this task and that task. No.
Coming soon.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there's emotions tied to that, right? And if they feel like you care about them and you genuinely do, then like that's a whole different level.
No, for sure. Transitioning from that initial version of yourself, walking into that dealership, how has the career and the professionalism and everything else, how does that impacted your personal life, with your family and your friends? Like,
it's actually a really good question. I mean, there's certain friends or acquaintances that I had at the time where, you know, no longer friends with them, no longer acquaintances with them. Just because, like, when you grow, you realize when you grow up that, like, certain people don't grow at the same pace, right? They're not on the same page as you. Yeah. And you can't let people bring you down, right? Sometimes a wise man once told me, sometimes you got to just go and be by yourself and walk that lone path, because that's where the growth is. Yeah. Right? So there is a lot of people that were in my life at that time which are not in the life anymore, because, you know, the values don't align anymore. You know, they're not doing the same things that, you know, I'm doing now. You know, they're still hanging out and whatnot, and that's fine. That's okay if that's what makes you happy, but it's not the same page that I'm on right now. So you do lose a couple of friends, you lose a couple of acquaintances. In terms of family life, yeah, it's definitely been tougher because I'm a lot more busier now. I'm trying to progress, but the good thing is I've got a great support system around me. My mom is fantastic, always praying for me, always supporting me, always being there for me, always listening to me. I do feel bad sometimes I don't get to spend as much time with them, but they know that I'm doing it for them. Right? Yeah, right? Yeah. As long as you show them that you will prioritize them when it comes time to that, you got to make time out for them too. Right? Like, relationships are the most important thing. I can't get so lost in progression and career and growth and stuff like that I lose sight of the people that were there for me in times when I didn't have anything, right? That's the most important thing. You got to make them feel appreciated. So I try my best to make time out for, like, my grandparents, my mom, you know, things of that nature, so they understand that, you know, look, I'm doing whatever I can for the, you know, the best of all of us, but I still appreciate you guys. I still love you guys. I'm going to make time out for you guys. I'm going to show you guys that you're still very, very important to me. Right? So that's one of the areas. In my personal life, it just it forced me to get a lot better. I try not to waste too much time anymore. You know, I don't really watch any TV shows. I don't watch movies too much. Like, once in a while, my wife and me will, you know, late night we'll watch something, but I'm not actively watching any Netflix shows or anything like that, because I'm always trying to, you know, get better. And you have to prioritize, right? So I had to make tough decisions, sacrifices, and it's impacted my life in a positive way, I'd say. Like, yes, it's tough sometimes. Like, it's a lot of pressure on myself. I don't think anybody can be as hard on me than myself. Yeah. So in that way, it's impacted me, but I would say it's all positive. Right? It's all been good. It's forced me to become a better person, a better human being at the end of the day. This is not about just being a better salesperson or a better professional. It's about being a better person, a better human being. I want to give back to others, right? I'm like, right now, something that's really, really bothering me. I've been wanting to do this for over a year now. I want to do something that's charitable, right? Like, I want to give back to the community or the world. Like, I want to make an impact, right, on people's lives in a positive way. So one day, like, it's a huge goal of mine to start a foundation or to do something. And I don't want to just do it and be like a silent partner or something. I want to actively do it.
You want to be involved.
I want to be involved, right? Like, if that means, like, I have to go and speak somewhere, if that means I have to go and build houses or, like, you know, show up for people and give them some hope and, like, you know, food or whatever the case may be, I want to actively do it. I think that's going to be really, really fulfilling for me. It's given me that mentality now, where I feel grateful for everything that I have and I appreciate it, and now I also want to give back, right? I'm still nowhere close to where I want to be. Like, long way ahead. Like, so much more to do, bro. Yeah, like, so much. Like, I have so much work to do, right? Like, it's nothing right now, you know, but I'm very grateful for where I've come and how far I've come so far. But I want to continue to keep going and progressing forward, right? So
that's what it's about.
If you were to pick one thing, what do you think was that main underlying thing that kept you going this whole time?
The hunger. You know, a lot of people don't really know about my personal life growing up, but it wasn't easy. It was a tough time. I grew up with a single mom. We lived in a basement for 17 years, right? Just me, my mom, and my younger brother. So it wasn't the easiest upbringing. I always had a positive attitude, so nobody could tell, right? But there was some dark days. There was some tough times. Like, my closest friends don't know this, but my mom was on welfare until I was 18 years old. Oh, wow. Right? So, like, just having that drive, having that hunger to give her a better life, like, that's what separates me. Like, I gotta do this for her. I'm gonna make sure that the next generation in my family line, like, they don't have to go through the stuff that I have to go through, right? Ed Milet talks about this. His favorite movie is The Matrix, and he says that there's Neo. If you guys have watched the movie, Neo, right? There's a Neo. If you look at any family where there is wealth, where they've made it to a certain point in life,
there's one Neo that broke the Matrix.
There's one Neo that broke the Matrix. Right? There's one person where he came in to that family line and said, I'm changing this shit.
Yeah.
Right, I'm coming in and I'm gonna bring some energy. I'm gonna make sure that for generations to come, like this family doesn't have to struggle ever again.
Yeah. I watched that interview you're talking about.
Exactly. So like my motivation is I want to be the Neo. I want to make impact. I want to make sure that the future generation lives a good life.
Yeah, bro.
You want to be the one.
I want to be the one.
That's crazy.
So that's what it is.
If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, how do we get a hold of you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Saad_Audi Queensway. You'll see my email on there. You'll see my cell phone number. I'm very open and very available to anybody that wants to reach out. If you've got questions for me, if you want to connect, I'm always looking to connect with people that are like-minded. Right? I really believe in that. Surrounding yourself with positive people. Like, we had a great conversation today. I'm sure we're going to stay in touch after.
We've been in touch, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So, like, getting around people that are like-minded, like, that's the key to, making sure that you progress as well. Because you guys, we feed off each other's energy, right?
Exactly.
Like, we know that there's positivity out there. We know there's growth out there. You see someone else's potential and you're like, oh man, that guy's doing so well, let me feed off of that, right? I'm very open as well, so if you want to reach out to me, my cell phone number is on there. Shoot me a text, give me a call, come by the dealership, Audi Queensway, and come have a chat.
All right, guys, this was a crazy episode. Appreciate you guys watching today. A lot of great gems on this. We're going to be actually cutting up a lot of the gems. It's going to be on his Instagram. It's also going to be on our Instagram as well. So you can follow us at Wealth as Possible on Instagram and at
Saad_Audi Queensway.
There we go. All the links are going to be down below. Make sure you guys like the video as well. Share it with whoever you think that can benefit from it. Until next time.
Wealth as Possible.
Oh, yeah.
Wealth as Possible. It's all in the mindset.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.